is the Big O Show. This 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 is.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Righty, welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll. Sorry about it. We were a little late. We were running a little technical difficulties. I'm a little off mic. I'm sorry. I'm still reaching for my damn cable. There it is. Finally found my damn cable. Hope you all are doing well out there on a beautiful Friday. Are you psyched? Are you pumped? I can't wait. We got a nice football weekend. We got the Dolphins taking on the Patriots. It's going to be a lot of fun because there's a lot of drama tied to it all. Listen, man, this is the kind of season that a lot of Dolphin fans have been waiting for. So we get to enjoy it this weekend. We get to start watching the boys actually take the field. And after all the talk, right? That's the thing. We've talked about it. Others are talking about it. Some people are positive about the Dolphins. Some people are negative about the Dolphins. You know what? Listen, the games will answer all. That's the beauty of it. That's it. When they take the field, they're going to tell the world what they are and who they're going to be this season. And that's going to be the fun part, that all of this is going to play out. Last night, I got to give the Cowboys a lot of props because I didn't think that they actually had it in them to play the kind of game that they played yesterday against the Buccaneers. It was one hell of a game. I still ended up on the positive end because I did lay the 9, but I love the over, as I told you guys. And I put a little more on the over than I did in the points. So I ended up on the positive end of it all, which was actually really cool to be able to enjoy a little victory yesterday. It would have been better if the Bucs would have been able to win by a few more points and give us the victory on the points. But I really like the over. And yesterday, the offenses were explosive. Again, props to the Cowboys, man. I didn't think that they'd play as well as they played. I thought their offense would be pretty damn good, and it was. And they weren't even able to establish Zeke yesterday, too. I mean, nobody was able to really establish the running game. It was really all about the receivers and Gronk, who is apparently another wonder of the world, that the man never gets old, which is just absolutely crazy, man. So good stuff yesterday watching the game. Appreciate all of you there. I'm looking at the chat board. It is absolutely loaded already. Thank you all for hanging in there with us and watching the show and supporting it. And, of course, downloading the show. We are coming to you live from Craig's Inns, Acura of Pembroke Pines. Sean Stanley by my side. We are having some fun out here like we do twice a month. We'll be back here in a couple of weeks. We'll be out here doing our thing once again. We do it twice a week here, 2 Fridays a month. Next Friday, we'll be at Caneswear. This Sunday, we're at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes. You ready, baby? You ready for it? There we go. Yeah, fins up, baby. So we're going to have some fun. We'll be at Sports Grill Miami Lakes. We will, hopefully, you guys are going to be there and load the place up with us and eat some great wings and enjoy some delicious beer, nice cold beer, and then, of course, the company. You guys, not me, of course. I'm no company, but I want to watch the game. You know, some people were asking me, it's funny because some people were asking me, hey, do you stay for the game or do you just do the pregame and then leave? And I go, no, man, I'm going to stay there. I'm going to watch the entire game, take my notes, try to take as much notes as possible. But, you know, that's kind of the idea is you go out there, you do the show, and then you get to obviously hang out with the fans, and we get to all experience the same thing, and hopefully we'll be experiencing a win. And hopefully in the postgame show, we're talking about a win. We're watching Flo talk about a win. We're watching Tua talk about a win. You know, it would be really, really nice. And one of the things that, to me, stands out in this whole thing is that Flo is 2-2 against Belichick. You know, it's not like the Padawan all of a sudden leaves, you know, the Imperial Starship and then is trying to, learn on his own. Well, actually, the Padawan wouldn't leave the Imperial Starship. The Padawan would leave, let me see, what was one of the ships of the rebellion? What's the name of one? I don't know, because I can't say TIE Fighter or X-Wing because those are too damn small. What's the name of their bigger ships? How come we only know the bad ships? But the Death Star also, right? We only know the bad people here. Tatooine, okay? You leave Tatooine, okay? Whatever, all right? You leave Tatooine and then you're on your own. Well, the Padawan is 2-2 against the Master. So it's not like the Master has this edge. And the Padawan has beaten the Master with much lesser talent in year one on the road. You know, everybody just kind of glosses over that kind of stuff, right? Everybody glosses over that Flo has his teams constantly prepared. Everybody glosses over the fact that they make very few mistakes. Now I jinxed him, but my point is he does an awesome job. And it's not like this guy is constantly out coached by people. Now, is Flo going to, maybe make a call you might disagree with in the game? Of course, every coach is going to do that. Every manager, every coach is going to do that. There's no such thing as a coach that doesn't make a mistake in a game. But overall, the results are what they are, man. They're 2-2 against this team. So it's not like and they've won in Foxborough under Flo. All of this has to be taken into account. So it's not something that, all of a sudden Flo is at a disadvantage. Flo has a better team year in and year out now, right? From year one to year two, he had a better team. From year two to year three, he has a better team. And so if you have a better team and yet your coach kicks ass, well, then now it seems like the talent's catching up to the coach now. So that's why. But again, I get it. It's boring to talk about the good stuff. It's boring to point out that stuff. Let's get controversial and say, oh, they didn't vote the kid in for captain. That must mean he sucks. Let's just go to extremes. Let's just find anything. Oh, 2 offensive coordinators. How's that going to work? Tua wasn't that impressive last year. I mean, we could go on and on. Oh, they inquired about Deshaun Watson. I love all of that. We had a club before that never got quarterbacks, never was making moves for quarterbacks. So we criticized them because they never could find a quarterback. Now we've got a front office that all they do is work on trying to get quarterbacks, and we're going to try to, call that a negative? Just think about that. You get Rosen, you're not happy, you go to Tua. And then Deshaun Watson becomes available. You got to inquire. How is that a negative? You know what I mean? It's not like real offers are being made. Nobody has anything on that. But that's what sells. And by the way, congratulations to Barry Jackson. Nice job. He wrote a nice article in the Miami Herald talking about all the players that they've developed that have come out of nowhere. And we've talked about that here on the show many times. And, we'll do that here on the show because we actually will. If they're doing something wrong, we're going to tell you. And if they're doing something right, we're going to tell you. You know what I mean? At least in our eyes. Doesn't mean we're right all the time. But Flo's ready for this. Flo's prepared for this guy. And that's the other thing that I have never felt with any of the other coaches prior to this. I always felt like you were going to a gunfight with a knife. That's how I always felt. And I'm talking about a butter knife. Like you show up, with Cam Cameron, you're showing up with a butter knife, dude. You show up with Adam Gase, you're showing up with a butter knife. And meanwhile, there's Belichick sitting there with 2 6-shooters on you. We're waiting to just take your ass out. Even if your butter knife is stainless steel. Doesn't matter. Not enough in a gunfight. I'm correct, right? A butter knife is not good in a gunfight, right? Okay. I just want to make sure I got to confirm here with the expert on gunfights. That is Sean, of course. I mean, that's where you've got to look at this too. They're ready to go, man. They'll be fine. This is gonna be a fun game. We're gonna feel good when it's all said and done. We're gonna rock out. By the way, Omar Kelly normally joins us at 10:30. It's not because we had our delay. He has some work to do at the facility, so we're gonna have him on around 12:15. We're gonna try to have Manny on a little later, around 12:45, 12:50, something like that. And then Ira Winderman will join us at 11:30 to talk a little Miami Heat. So we'll get your Heat fix, you'll get your Canes fix, and you'll get your Dolphins fix with Omar. And obviously, we'll give you plenty more Dolphins chatter that we can use. But, that's things like what we just talked about now, where I truly believe Flo is a guy that is going to be ready for all of this. By the way, it looks like Jamie Zorrilla was number 1 in the house on the chat board. GP Trap Hewitt is in there. Don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of that like button. It is so important that you smash the like button for us. That gets the algorithms going. You've been doing a great job of that. That is getting other people to find the show. Hell, you saw a couple of examples yesterday, folks saying, hey, I'm new to the show, just found the show. All these little things help. Being on Douglas' show has helped out. Also, those of you that are, smashing it, those of you that are sharing it, all of these things are the reasons why we're growing like crazy. And we already crossed the 5,000 mark 2 days ago. We're already at 5,100. I appreciate all of you out there, man. We're going to get there. Let's hopefully, I'm looking forward to getting to the double-digit area, to the 10 grand area. That's going to be a lot of fun when we can get up to that level there and get that many subscribers. I really, really appreciate it on behalf of Sean, myself, and Bill, all the people that are working on this show, and some other things that yesterday had some good conversations. Could be some other stuff that's happening with this show that is going to be a lot of fun, man. I think we're going to be able to build something that can get out of control. Let's put it that way, which is a really good thing. Last night was fun. I will admit, Bucs 31, Dallas 29. Tom Brady, you gave him like a minute and 40 left with the ball. You knew you were cooked. You knew it was over, right? You knew that that final drive, you just knew it was going to happen, right? Gronk also major part of that game with 2 touchdowns. What do you have, like 90 yards? Right, eight receptions, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. If you started him in fantasy, I mean, listen, if you started the backs, you were pissed. But if you started the receivers, let's see, AB, 5 for 121 and a touchdown. Chris Godwin, 9 for 105 and a touchdown, and he should have had a lot more because he had a couple drops that were really key. Amari Cooper was awesome, 13 for 139 and 2 TDs. CeeDee Lamb, who had his share of drops, 7 for 104 and a touchdown, and then Gronk, 8 for 90. And I kept thinking about some Dolphin fans, because we have those Dolphin, because let's not lay it all on the periphery, the people that aren't in the Dolphin Nation, the media, and all of that are non-believers or are negative. We have people within the Dolphin family that are not believing in the team, and they get off the bandwagon really quick and don't give players and people an opportunity to really prove themselves, right? And that's happening right now with Tua. It happened with Gesicki, 3 years ago. And I was thinking, man, if CeeDee Lamb is here dropping those passes, people would be pissed. They would be complaining. If Chris Godwin, who's been a heck of a receiver, had a bad night last night, people would be pissed. And now you see what's going on. Speaking of drop passes, my boy in Cincinnati is now giving, I don't know if you caught this one, Sean, but the excuse that he's using in Cincinnati, Jamar Chase, for dropping passes, because he's dropped a lot of passes. And so, some people look at it and go, well, Jalen Waddle was they're number one, and not Jamar Chase. And so now Jamar Chase is explaining, saying he's been dropping so many passes because the NFL balls don't have white stripes. He goes, I don't want to blame it on me sitting on my butt the whole year, but probably had to do something with it, of course, the number 5 overall pick, the bigger ball adjustment. So I don't want to make excuses, but I've got to be a pro and make the catch. And talking about how, the college ball has the white laces, the white stripes. So he says, now you got to focus in on the laces coming at you. So this is a question I would have for Jamar Chase. So when you were in the park or in the street playing with the fellas, every ball had stripes? Because I remember now, my world is different than Jamar Chase's world now. Kids, I don't know if they're playing pickup football games anymore. I don't know if that exists anymore. Pickup football games. Seriously, I am dead serious. It's called Madden, right? Right. Because, when you're 12, 14, 10, 15, you're playing in front of your house on the street with your friends. You're playing at the park, right? On your way walking to the bus stop, you take a football with you and you're throwing it to each other on the way to the bus stop. You ever done that? I mean, all kinds of stuff. I remember playing with Nerf balls, brown balls with white stripes, colored. I think people brought like funky different rubber balls that were all kinds. You remember those rubber balls that were inflated, those rubber footballs that the stripes were like plastic that was melted onto the ball as it was inflated? Those things could fly, dude. Those things were awesome. That ball was awesome. It had good grip, right? It had a nice weight to it, so it would cut through the wind, and you can throw that one a mile. And so you had to learn to catch anything and everything in sight, bro. Are you kidding me? I had mango and avocado trees in our house. Like when I was a kid, one of my jobs, self-employed job, we had a Philippine mangoes are the big, long mangoes. We had a tree that was maybe 3.5, 4 stories tall. I shit you not, in our house. Really tall-ass tree. We had a tall-ass avocado tree, and we had 2 other mango trees. So one of us would end up climbing up, right? I would always get a friend of mine, and you'd get the mangoes, and then you'd have to throw it down, or the avocados, and you'd throw it down, your buddy would catch it. So Jamar Chase should have made a living of catching anything and everything in sight, dude. The excuse of the stripes, that's embarrassing, dude. Come on. We're all kids. Now, again, maybe my childhood is different. Or, those of us that are older, maybe our childhoods are completely different than kids nowadays. Because I will admit, whenever I drive through a neighborhood, I never see kids playing on the street football anymore. We had a part of the street where we could play football. We had it painted, okay, right in front of my house. We had end zones painted. 50. Again, we're a little different, I remember we called it the Lafa Bowl. And it was because it was Lopez, Alzigari, Fojon, and Alvarez. 4 of the guys that created the whole thing. That's what I remember. Yeah, so you're right. You had the what? Oh, you had the Neighbor Bowl? Oh, different neighborhood. Okay. Okay, there you go. There you go. But again, it's like we used to play with anything and everything in sight. You know what I mean? You would catch anything and everything in sight. That was part of it. Give me this crap about white stripes. I would love to see Jamar Chase here instead of Jalen Waddle. Because I think people would have, oh my God, fire Chris Greer, trade away Jamar Chase. He sucks. He's a bust. Right? That's all that would have happened here. But I did find it hilarious that he was using that excuse. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, dude, you didn't grow up with all kinds of other footballs? I mean, seriously. Somebody didn't show up with like a weird orange football? Maybe a Canes football, right? Maybe some kid in the neighborhood had a Dallas Cowboys football and we were playing with that. Whatever football we had in our hands, if nobody had one, whatever one brought. Now, when you went to the park, you had to show up with a decent football because if not, you were going to get ripped left and right. Hey, this thing's kind of flat. Is your mother sitting on it? Or, you would have gotten, because back in those days, mother jokes were out in the open. It was cool. It was part of the whole thing. So it was acceptable in our neighborhood. You were going to get slammed. But I found it funny as hell that Jamar Chase would use the stripes as an excuse why he can't catch the football. Hell, I remember playing with a glow-in-the-dark football. Did you ever play one of those? We would go to the park on purpose. Right, it was neon. We would go to the park on purpose later in the evening to go play with that damn football. So you're going to tell me Jamar Chase? Probably not, right? These young kids don't have these kind of pickup games anymore. It's all organized. Everything's organized for them. It's weird. That is some weird stuff, man. Michael Collinwood, thank you, sir, giving us a little love on the super chat. He says, I believe in the Dolphins every year. Some years it's evidence-based. Others, it's just fan-based. Congrats on the 5K. Thank you. Well, when you do it on evidence-based is good. When you do it on fan-base, we have something for you, Michael. And you know what? We're all guilty of this. Yours truly, Sean does it. We're all human beings. There are times that we are awarded the BAF.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
I love that video, by the way. That's all Sean Stanley right there, creating that video, creating the magic. and adding it to our drop. And that dude at the end that just, runs into the wall, that's just absolutely classic. But Michael, there are times that we're all blind ass fans and we're hoping for the positive out of it, but we know the reality probably deep down inside. So I'm with you, but it's evidence-based now, baby. I'm with you there. And if it doesn't happen, then both you and I are blind ass fans. Okay. But hopefully it's right. I mean, what we're watching the last 2 years, every indication is that the Dolphins are headed in the right direction and they should get the respect. You know what I mean? But they're not getting that respect. And that to me is my problem with all of this, is that they're not getting the respect that they deserve and that they've earned in the first 2 years of this amazing turnaround when you've broken it down all the way to the bottom. It's good stuff there. Remember, we're out here 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. And come on by, say hi. We'll be out here till probably a little bit after 1 since we started a little late. HM says, bro, I played at Miami High's field every evening. I walked there. I lived on Beacon Boulevard. I could catch everything. Of course. And I know Beacon Boulevard very, very well. Very well. Francisco Rivero says, did you live right by the fire station or away from the fire? Did you ever go over to what was that? We had an arcade right off of Beacon. There was an arcade place right there back in the day, back in the 80s. I don't know how old you are, but there was an arcade place I remember I used to go to right off of Beacon there, close to Miami High. Francisco says, kids nowadays see the success of e-gamers and streamers and have now focused on video games. It's one of the fastest growing and high-paying platforms out there today. Yeah, I understand that. Still doesn't mean they really couldn't play the game. Okay? They're really good at Madden. Take them out to the street to catch a football, and they can't catch a football. And they throw it like they're completely discombobulated. So, yeah, I got you. EXKWCO says, we had a glow-in-the-dark ball. We would leave in the South Florida sun all day, and it was bright for Night Street. There you go for the street football. Nice. We all did that, dude. I think a lot of us, at least, most of us. Glow-in-the-dark Nerf football. Those were the days, LOL. Can't catch without stripes is football versions of the dog ate my homework. Yeah, I would go with that one. It's it's an embarrassing thing to even bring up, actually, on behalf of him. He should know. Well, maybe he doesn't. He's kind of young. Big O, it's impossible to look for the laces on the ball. He may just be a mental midget. Well, I'm going to go with Oronde Gadsden. Oronde Gadsden, we had a wide receivers coach named Coach Ford. I don't know if you guys remember him back in the day. One of the best human beings you will ever deal with in your life. I know Coach Ford, and I don't get to see him anymore in the offseason. I used to see him all the time at the Senior Bowl and the Combine and all that, and I get to talk to him a little bit. And I got to learn a lot from him. And Ford taught something to Oronde Gadsden, and it's a line that they all use. And some receivers, obviously they've passed it on to others. So it's a saying, see the point, grab the fat. That's the way it is. You're watching the point come at you, grab fat. That's the way they call it there in the NFL. We're playing with a Disney Hercules Zeus football in the street in Miami Gardens, down the street at 7th Avenue from Walgreens. There you go. I'm with you, man. Man, I love playing street ball. We never cared about the ball as long as it had pointed ends. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it can't be too cheap of a ball. Oh, you really liked him as your second choice in the draft behind Pitts? Yes, I did. Remember that? Yes, I did. You are correct, sir. Big O, I am glad we didn't draft him. It used to be our luck the Dolphins would draft a problem child. And some of us didn't want to believe that they had Jalen Waddle as their number one. And maybe they did. Who knows? Maybe they know something about this young man that we don't know. You never know, ladies and gentlemen. We played pickup football in high school at Tropical Park. There you go. T-Bone says, Nerf ball, Big O. dumb excuses, laces out. Everybody's killing the kid. Man of 1,005 holes says 5K. Damn. Well, man of 1,005 holes, you, sir, contributed to those 5K. So thank you. Every one of you. Thank you so much for contributing and helping us out and growing every single day here on the program, man. Very nice of you all. Ira Winderman will join us at the top of the hour. What time did we start so I know? 36? Okay. So I know when the hour is. So, I guess we'll do it right before Ira comes on. We'll wrap up that first hour. Yeah. So we'll do it with Ira at 11:30. So we got Dolphins and Patriots. Remember, we are on at 2:30 live from Sports Grill in Miami Lakes. So come on out and join us. It's right off 154th in the Palmetto. It's on the west side in the shopping center. Come on out and join us. We'll be out there starting, we'll be there before 2:30. I mean, he's probably going to be there around 12:30, 1 o'clock or something. I'll be there probably by 1:30. And then we can obviously get ready for the show and all that good stuff. And we'll do the 2 hours leading up to the start of the game. And then when the game, immediately the second the game is over, we come right back on here on the channel. And it'll all be podcasted too. So just in case, if you missed the pre and post game shows, you'll still be able to hear them on your own time if you feel like it. So everything will be there as always digitally. Like we always do with everything on our channel. And so we will start at 2:30, get you ready for Dolphins and Patriots, and then we'll hang out at Sports Grill, watch the game, take some notes, and get ready for the post-game show, a happy post-game show after the Dolphins win. I'll give you my prediction, how the Dolphins will win and what the score will be at the end of the show. And I you know what? Somebody asked me about a pick'em, and I don't really do pick'em segments, but I'm going to have some fun, and I'm probably better in crypto than this, okay? But I'm going to give you my NFL picks that I like this week, actually. I've got 6 games that I like this week that I picked, and it's so dangerous to pick any kind of games in week 1 when you don't really know the teams, man, and you don't really know what you're getting, but we gotta roll with the punches, right? So let's have some fun. I have not misled you in the world of crypto. Hopefully, I won't mislead you too much on this one. I got to tell you, I have way more confidence in my crypto picks than I do right now in picking against the spread, because that is really difficult to do on a week in and week out basis. So we'll do that today. Speaking of crypto, do you see how many Brady FTX commercials there are, huh? I mean, for those people out there that keep thinking that crypto isn't going to be a part of our lives, you better wake the F up, dude, okay? You better wake the hell up. All those people, okay, or curmudgeons, because also it tends to be a lot of old people. And you know what I hate to, when I say old like this, it kind of sucks, Sean, because it's people my age and older. It's easy. You know how many guys I run into the 50? Oh, yeah, no, that stuff's a scam. Yeah, crypto. Oh, come on. Yeah. You know, and all it is it's just a lazy person that doesn't want to find out about it, doesn't want to actually do the homework. And it's the same dude that said the telephone, the internet, oh, God, the Wright brothers flying. Get out of here. Only that's for the birds, you know? The same stuff, dude. Same stuff. The same people that live in denial are those people. So, and it was a good commercial, by the way, because when he's talking to the Boston fans, that was freaking awesome. You know, we hate you. We don't want you back. Yes, you do. Yes, we would. Yes, we would. We'll take them back. So are you in? I'm in, but I still hate you. So he's in? Yeah, he's in. Did he tell you he hated you? Yeah. Yep. He told me. That was a good commercial. That was a good commercial. I got to admit, that was excellent. That was one that in fact, you know, with the Gronk commercial, I'm special too. There was another one. I felt those commercials ended up being better than the Super Bowl commercials the last couple of years. Seriously, I enjoyed more of the commercials that I saw last night than I have in the Super Bowl the last couple of years. And by the way, FTX spent a world of money because they were on, my Lord, in every quarter in one of those breaks. I want to say. I want to say that commercial ran 4 times. How much did they pay Giselle? Because I was telling my wife that. I go, yeah, Brady's making money, but you bet your ass they paid Giselle. That's a $100 million model that you added to the commercial. So this way you're getting different audiences. So if some of the women that are watching and they don't really care too much about football, but they're watching it for their man, oh, there's Giselle. Oh, I buy her makeup. Oh, yeah, no, I've seen her on Elle and this and that or whatever magazine. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a best of both worlds type of thing. You know they had to pay her some cash. She wasn't going to do it for free. That's strong. That's strong. There was a few good commercials on there, but just it shows you how, FTX is on referees, sponsorship stuff. They're obviously in the new Miami Heat arena. It's the FTX arena now. I mean, FTX has made an enormous push now, and it's become a very good cryptocurrency exchange too. So it's one that people can depend on. Now, their selection, I haven't checked it in a couple months because I don't have an account with FTX. But, when I checked it several months ago, I was, a decent selection. Crypto.com has a better selection overall. But, hey, listen, that you can tell that you can see crypto growing into becoming just a staple of our society and how we're going to live. And this is just going to be part of the game from here on out, man. And people are going to have to get used to this. They have to learn that crypto is going to be, you're going to use it every day of your life coming up. And you're going to see all these countries now, like El Salvador. There's going to be several countries now over the next couple of months that are going to make, Bitcoin and crypto their currency because their countries, they can't be trusted. Their currency isn't stable. This is a currency that will be stabilized because the world, the community will keep that thing alive. And now that you have institutions locked in, oh man, forget about it. Those people aren't going to invest in something that they're going to lose their asses on. So and retail is not, in fact, the reverse of what's gone on has actually been a monster positive for crypto is what people don't understand. The people that follow this, they know that the whales and the institutions have been manipulating crypto the last couple of months in trying to drive the price down, trying to drive a doubt, and then force retail out. You and I are we're retail. Force the little man out or little woman out and scare them. And then they come in and get it at a much cheaper price. And that's what they're trying to do. And that's what happened here now. The SEC did this whole thing about, they went after Coinbase and they said, oh, well, no, we want the information of, your clients, the people that are staking and all this kind of stuff. And Coinbase.com said, no, man, that's, you're crossing the line. And then they said, because Coinbase told the SEC that they're going to now start adding staking and lending and all that other stuff to their service. And they said right away, if you do that, we're going to sue you. And then that created some FUD. And you'll see the SEC will come out now and they'll say, well, no, you're all right. Every other crypto service does what Coinbase is about to do. So why would you disallow Coinbase to do something that the rest of the other services are already providing? And that's only to generate and create FUD and create doubt and scare people because Coinbase is tied to major institutions. And they all want to scare the hell out of you, the average Joe. That's why I keep telling you guys, you don't sell. You stay strong, and on the dips, you buy the dips because it'll continue to go up. And when it does go up, you're going to be profiting in a big-time way. By the way, did anybody get any Miami coin? Not that I would tell you to invest in it, But Miami coin opened up. Did you know Miami has its own coin? So Miami has its own coin. It's called Miami coin, MIA. And you can only get it at OK Coin Exchange. And I bought a couple bucks of it, okay? Because I wanted to support Miami. And I can't tell you that I like the fundamentals of it. But a little trick for any of you in crypto. When a new coin's about to come out, when it comes out, it's overpriced. 95% of the time, it's overpriced. And so whatever it comes in on and people get excited, they think that's the low part and it's going to go up. No, it doesn't. And in fact, it usually pumps just a little bit and then has a massive drop. So Miami coin came out at 5 cents. And it rose to 5.8. People bought it up like crazy. Then it dipped. So I waited and I got it at just over a penny, like 1.1, 1.2. Now I've doubled. It's over 2 pennies. So I doubled my investment. You know what I mean? I listen, I'm not going to tell you to put in a penny into Miami coin. I'm just telling you, I got lucky and I didn't sell it because it's not so much money that I'm going to retire or anything like that. But I'm going to leave it because if it does go up to 3 or 4 pennies, then maybe I'll part ways. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll enjoy my profits. But I thought it was, and that's what you have to do. We saw that with the internet computer, one that I was kind of interested in. But when I found out that the nodes are not decentralized, I was out. Then you're really not a decentralized internet. And that's the part I didn't like about it. But they opened at I forgot what it was, like $300. And they dropped to like 30. Now they're back up to, I don't know, like 60 or something like that. But Internet Computer, ICP, also had some issues too. So, but this happens to a lot of coins. Be very careful. You know what also happened? It happens in stocks. Coinbase, when they went on the stock exchange at the beginning, the number they opened up at, they dropped from that too. And that you have to be patient. Don't get too excited on new coins. Try to hold your enthusiasm and show patience and wait, because after it's posted, there will be a drop most of the time. I'm telling you, like 90% of the time. There's very few times that it actually debuts and then it just keeps climbing after that. Those kind of situations, they're few and far between, I'm telling you. Unfortunately, but that's the case. So there you go. That's a little crypto talk for you today on the program. A little Miami coin and others. All right. What else do we have here? Dougie Fresh, thank you. Thank you, sir, for the love on Super Chat. Oh, your show has added so much to our lives. We can all catch a football without stripes. Also, Flo's presser is on now. Let's go to the Twitter there, Miami Dolphins. Let's bring on Flo. Let's see what he's got going on. Thank you, sir. Oh, that's right, 11 a.m. That's right. I didn't know it was 11 a.m. My bad there on that one. Big O, am I a little too late? You invest in crypto? I feel like I'm super late to the party. Actually, you're not. Actually, crypto is in its embryonic stages still. So yes, I am heavily into crypto. If you've listened to this show long enough, most of you will know that I'm heavily into crypto. Marcelo Cambises, thank you, sir. A little love on the super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, did you hear about the bad luck that happened to the Ravens? Yeah, man. Gus Edwards went down with the ACL. Marcus Peters went down with the ACL. They say, they lost J.K. Dobbins and Justin Hill. Now Tyson Williams, the practice squad player, is going to be elevated. And then Le'Veon Bell should be elevated. They also signed Devonta Freeman. And I believe Rosenhaus is his agent. And Rosenhaus says that he's going to be elevated also to the active squad. So they will have Bell and Freeman and Tyson Williams on the roster now. So they have added running backs. I saw that the big kid from New Orleans got released. That's another kid. I don't know if the Dolphins are in for a running back, but Maybe you add that big kid because he can actually catch the ball too. He's not just a runner, but he's a big body that can help out in short yardage situations.
With those two guys.
There we go.
Can I ask you about Preston Williams? We've seen him on the first two injury reports of the year with a foot and limited. Is that you being cautious with him, obviously coming off something significant last November as opposed to something new? I don't know if you're able to share that.
Yeah, obviously he's coming off of I think just recently came off of PUP. Just started practicing, played in the Cincinnati game a little bit, and
you guys are hearing this, right?
Still a little bit, limited. So we listed it that way, and look, Preston's done a very nice job of kind of working his way back and definitely moving in the right direction. But just transparency is still still some issues there, and that's why we listed him as limited.
Ryan, you're just a few days from the start of another regular season. You still have time to reflect on what this opportunity means to you, having the chance to coach an NFL team again one more year.
I'm very fortunate, that's for sure, and blessed and excited about the opportunity to coach this team this year. But I try to keep my focus in the moment, in the present, and I hope our team does the same thing. And just really kind of worried about today's practice and putting the kind of finishing touches on the game plan and getting ready to take a flight tomorrow and head up to New England.
Where's your comfort level regarding Eichenberg? Should he be pressed into the starting lineup because of Austin?
Well, look, Liam's done a nice job really since he's been here. He's tough, he's smart, he works hard. It's important to him. He's in there all the time, studying film and trying to just improve and get better. So he's had some good moments during training camp. He's dealt with some injuries also. So I think he's done a nice job of just fighting through that. It's hard for rookies. It's their first kind of timeout, and we take that into account. So we'll see how it goes.
How has that competition been, or filling the left tackle void with Greg Little and with Liam? And also, does injury play a factor into that decision, considering Liam is kind of neck up?
Look, I think there's a lot of things that play a factor into that. Obviously, we're preparing as with Austin being on COVID IR, and we've gotten a few guys ready at that position, and I would say it's not just one position. It's how that player affects the next player and the next player and next player. So we'll like I've said many times, we'll play the best five guys. We have a pretty good idea of what that is right now, and we'll practice it that way today. But we'll also practice some situations where, hey, such and such is down, who's going in, and kind of the moves that would have to be made if that were to occur at a specific position. So that might be somebody going from right to left, left to right, guard to tackle, tackle to guard, center to. And I think all our guys are flexible enough to do that. So
I've always liked, appreciated, respected, understood your best five up in terms of you're going to play the best five. However, in this situation, this is the only time you've had a rookie offensive lineman where you actually worked him at multiple spots during training camp OJs. Even Dieter played left guard. Solomon played right guard. Robert played right tackle. Austin played left tackle, and they were allowed to settle in. Why has it been different for Liam?
Because he's got very good versatility, and he's smart, and he's tough, and you try to find a way to get players like that, on the field. So I think it's not just. I think that happens at a lot of positions. I think if you're a receiver, and we try to get you in, you can play Z, you can play F, you can play X. We may put a 4 wide package in where he's playing Y. We may put him in the backfield where he's playing the H. I think like I've said many times, I think players, their opportunity on the field, is based on their performance, and I think Liam has showed, in some instances that he may be able to help us. So we've tried to move him around. Now, I would say the injuries have affected that, and obviously that goes into our decisions for this week. But to answer your question, he's bounced around because he's done a good job, and I think you do that really at a lot of positions. So safety, hey, let's play him at linebacker to get him in. Let's play him in the kicking game. Let's play him at corner in this grouping. I think that's kind of how we kind of handle things as a coaching staff.
Brian, how would you assess Javon Holland's level of readiness in light of the time that he missed because of the injury he had?
Again, Javon worked hard to get back. He's back out of practice. He's moving well. Again, anytime you miss time, you miss some opportunities to improve, to grow, to get better. But he was certainly diligent about his film study, diligent about going through our practice film. Hey, I would have played at this position, or I would have been here. And just kind of taking mental reps. Probably the best way to say it. When he was out, and I would say all of our guys who've been out have done a good job of that. I think Javon is, again, another young guy, another rookie. Playing in his first game. So we will, I think that we take that into account when we're talking about playing time, how many groupings, how much we want to put on, a young player. So we'll see how it goes.
Coach, end of a long off-season program, training camp, all that fun stuff, heading into the regular season now. What's kind of your final message to your guys as you head into game one?
Really all the things we talked about through training camp. Alignment, assignment, good communication, good fundamentals, good technique. Follow your rules, read your keys, and play ball. So, really, I try not to steer too far from that. And I think if they do those things, the results, they take care of themselves.
You have two veteran NFL starters on your practice squad, obviously with Jamal Sheard, Bobby Hart. Is it difficult with practice squad guys to evaluate where they are, just impressions of those two, and is there enough work in practice to get a sense of what they could be if they were active for you at this stage of their careers?
There's a lot that to unpack in that question. I have experience with Jabal, so I know him, and what his intelligence, his toughness, his physical ability. So that one's a little bit different as far as being able to gauge or having a history on what it looked like versus what it looks like now, and whether or not he could. So I probably got a better feel on that. Bobby, I don't have as much history, so it's we're learning, and we're evaluating. I think that's what we try to do with all the practice squad players. We're evaluating them in individuals and team periods and group periods, and it's still early with both guys, so no decisions there. But happy to have them both. I think they're both good players, and they've done a nice job since they've been here.
Did you catch any of the game last night, and are you amazed at what Brady is able to still do, considering he was old back when you were with him in New England and older now?
He's a great player. There's no, ifs, ands, or buts about that. And, I only watched the first half. It was exciting first half, both ways. I thought Dak played well too. From what I saw, I just saw the final score this morning. But it's exciting to watch, football again. I'm sure you all, were up watching it, and I'm excited to get going this week. But yeah, some good ball last night from what I saw.
Again, last night kind of made me think of this, but we haven't really talked about him much this offseason. One of your most consistent players last year was Jason Sanders. How excited are you to see what he can do this year? And how would you evaluate his offseason?
I think he's been great. He's been consistent. He's and that's probably the one thing about him that is probably his best quality is his consistency. The way he works, the way he trains, the way he goes about his craft, how important it is to him, the minute details that go into kicking. He's on top of them. So I'm excited to. I'm happy that he's our kicker, and You know, look, his consistency, and not just as a kicker, but the way he trains and the way he goes about his business. I mean, I have a lot of respect for it.
And it's been a while since you've played in a full stadium. I know you always talk about the tough atmosphere, but do you feel like you ever have to bring any, especially the younger players, back down to earth? It's been so long since they've played really in a sold-out crowd.
I mean, yeah, it's something we talked about. It's been a while since anyone's played in front of a full stadium, college, professional. So, look, crowd noise will be, it's something we've talked about, something we've practiced in, and that element is something that we're going to have to deal with, especially on the road in a tough environment. So, yeah, we talked about that, and that's just one more, one more part of playing on the road that we've got to deal with, and it's part of the adversity, and it's not going to be easy. So we've talked about that, and we know and understand that, and we're going to have to perform with that stress as part of the entire game. So yeah, we talked about it, and the rookies, veterans, players, coaches. I mean, it's been a while since any of us have been in a full stadium, so there'll be some, I would say similar to getting used to playing with no fans. We'll just get used to playing with fans. So
with the Preston, obviously you addressed Preston, but with Devontae and Albert coming back to practice, what have you seen from them during the sessions, and are you comfortable with them having a role with the offense, considering most of them missed all of the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, both guys worked hard to get back. We got them back out there. They practiced well, and yeah, very comfortable, playing both guys. But look, that's kind of too far out. I mean, we got practice today. Let's see how that goes, and kind of put the finishing touches on for those two specifically. Hey, this route, this block, this motion. So just kind of put the last kind of bit of the game plan together, and but yeah, assuming all that's good, I'm comfortable with both guys.
Brian, can you talk a little bit about Tua's chemistry with Myles Gaskin and how can that help the team this season?
Tua's chemistry with Myles is good. He's the two of them have spent a lot of time together. Whether it's ball handling with on run plays in the pass game. Myles moves around a lot, so he ends up in some receiver situations. And obviously catching the ball out of the backfield. So, I mean, I think they got a good rapport, and they're constantly talking about a variety of things. And when you got a player like that who does, catches the ball, runs the ball, protects, I mean, there's a lot of conversation. So, I think Tua's got a good relationship with him and really all the backs, and I'm sure that will continue.
That is the head coach, Brian Flores, addressing the Meteors prior to the New England Patriots game as they hit the road. And remember, we will be at Sports Grill this Sunday, starting off at 2:30, 2-hour pregame show, 2-hour postgame show. We'll have Flo's live presser postgame. We'll have all of that for you, and we'll have the reaction. And I know I saw Drew Boo say, I don't get anything. And yeah, he didn't really leave much out there today. Today was there was really no real controversial things. There's really nothing to really go after at this point in time. Anything that's questionable, controversial, or anything like that. So that's why maybe it was kind of so-so and it wasn't anything big. We're going to get to Ira Winderman now. By the way, I know some of you are asking me, let me see where we at here. I know you guys are asking me a little bit about crypto. Let me get to Ira. Let me get this quick break. I'm going to answer some of those crypto questions that you guys have and concerns. Like Greg Wood says, with crypto, do you have to let it sit for a year like stocks to avoid huge tax implications? Everything has tax implications, dude. Anything that's, if you inherit money, you got to pay taxes. If you win the lottery, you got to pay taxes. If you bought stocks and you made a whole bunch of money, you got to pay taxes. Capital gains are capital gains, and crypto's the same as anything else like that. Capital gains, you're going to have to pay. Now, there are things you can do, and I'll get into that, it can buy you some time and you can push it back and those kind of things. But we'll get into that later. I will explain it. Right now is not the time for that, but that was good by Flo. Let's get our number 2 ready to go. Ira Winderman will join us next. You know where we're at? We're right here at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. And you know what's apropos? You know what's next? It's the Craig Zinn Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Ira Winderman, next.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right. Ready to go. Ira is ready and rocking. Ira, did you watch any football last night?
Obviously, I caught the game. It was easy. For once, the decision was simple. There was just one game. Certainly compelling. Certainly, two of the NFL's best storylines between Tom Brady at age 73 still going and Dak Prescott getting back to being Dak Prescott. I'm just not going to be fooled by the Cowboys until they do something tangible. There's always, they're close, they're there, they have something. Now they have the receivers. They obviously have had the running game. The line has a little COVID problems, but they'll be fine. I want to see it. And again, that division is just as garbage as it was last season. Yes. I mean, the Giants are still nowhere. The Eagles are still trying to find themselves with a relatively inexperienced quarterback. And God bless the Redskins. God bless the Washington football team for what they did, but they're not very good either. So you don't have to be good to win that division. And honestly, if the Cowboys aren't good enough to win that division, then they're not good enough, period.
Right, exactly. No, I'm with you. I commend the Cowboys that they played one hell of a game yesterday to hang in there. And their kicker missed a couple of field goals. The 60-yarder, I can't really blame him, but it is what it is. But he did the one other field goal he missed could have made the difference in the game too. But then Tampa made their share of mistakes. But I'm with you. It's one of those you might have played over your head nights, and we'll see what you are over a period of time. But I'm with you in that division. It's hard to respect anybody in that division right now.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's
right.
Really such a bad division. But did Tom Brady and Giselle inspire you to get into crypto? I'm just, you're going to be walking into FTX Arena every single night, man. And then you're also watching Tom Brady do crypto commercials. You see me talking about crypto. You see our listeners are definitely, interested in crypto. So I'm just wondering, any inspiration last night?
I have to say, I'm still with all this cyber stuff going on and ransom being paid in Bitcoin. I still would like to see a little higher degree of regulation. I even talked to the FTX people when they took over. That's honestly a concern. I mean, look, it's a fun thing where we all play with things, whether people used to play with penny stocks or getting mutual funds. But the Wild Westness of this, I just want to see what happens because honestly, the way people are insisting on Bitcoin as ransom and something like that, and it's untraceable, even with other funding, whether it was Swiss banks or Caymans or offshore, they've tightened that the international community. I'd like to see a little bit more regulation because for all I know, otherwise, all the money just goes to Orlando Alzagari.
Well, that's not a bad thing. Okay, I just want you to know if the money's going to come to me, that's not a bad thing. But it's coming. The regulation's already happening. They're not going to control who gets, loans, and They're not going to control any of that stuff. That's why that's why decentralized banking is going to take over the world, and DeFi is going to probably put out banks. And over the next 5 to 10 years, you will not see any more branches out there. This is going to be a devastation to the banking community. But
as long as I can still get a coffee at Capital One Cafe, I'll be fine.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You can do it right with your phone in 1 second and all that stuff. So you're going to be able to get away with it with no problem. But crypto wants regulations because you want to regulate these companies that you're looking to invest in. So you want to make sure that they're absolutely legitimate. So yes, it's coming. And a lot of people in crypto, the ones that really follow it, they want a certain
Yes.
level of regulation in there because you've got to have something to make sure it brings discipline to everything that's going on. So yeah, no, I'm with you. It's but it's going to be a part of our world, whether people like it or not. It's I keep telling everybody this is the same as the plane, the internet, whatever, any of these things in life that
Cell
people
phones, yeah.
cell phone, it'll never catch on. It's coming. I know it is. So I just found it funny how I believe Major League Baseball umpires have
Yes.
the FTX, and then we're looking at the Miami Arena or the AAA now becoming the FTX Arena, and then I'm looking at Tom Brady last night, and all that stuff. You could tell that that it is coming. By the way, Ira, did you see a sad story with Cedric Ceballos, man? How he's fighting COVID?
Yeah, and again, I just hate to be the guy sort of always wanting to know part B on this and whether the person was vaccinated or not. And that's wrong. A human life is a human life, no matter what happened before to that human life. So I'm not that person. Well, they didn't get vaccinated, they deserve this. No one deserves torment like that. But I just hope, that each of these stands is an abject lesson. How many people have we heard who were anti-vaxxers wound up in this situation and said, hey, I was wrong, please listen. So, this is not politics. This is not Joe Biden. This is basic human decency to your fellow man, whether it's having to wear a mask again or social distance again or get vaccinated. Be a person. If this was a war, if this was World War II, because I remember my father especially, he was the first one to line up and enlist, and he joined, he was in the Air Corps, and he decided we're all in this together. And I'm a student of history of World War II. This was a country unified. There was no political parties. It wasn't conservative or liberal. It was, we have a fight on our hands we have to address. Same thing after, we're going to celebrate the anniversary, not celebrate the anniversary tomorrow of 9/11.
Yeah.
It didn't matter whether you're Republican or not. When President Bush spoke that night and unified our country, we came together in a moment of need. I just wish people would realize this is just another moment in need, of need. This is not political. There's time for that. Yeah.
For the world.
Right.
Not just the United States.
All of us together. It's almost like Will Smith is calling us together and the president is saying we have to fight the aliens. It's sort of the same thing. There is no other side, I don't think, to this. But hey, there's the Cole Beasleys out there. There's others. So apparently there is another side.
No, I know. And you saw recently we had 3 or 4 right-wing hosts that were completely against it. And they ended up, obviously, it cost them their lives. And then they were trying to reverse the message. At the end. And it's so sad that we're watching a lot of people regret that decision, and that's what we're hoping, that more people can learn from those people and say, you know what, I don't want to make that mistake. And at one point or another, you got to look around. Don't you have a wife? Don't you have a husband? Don't you have a son, daughter, uncle, father, grandfather, grandmother?
We're all related. We're all related. This is human race versus COVID. There's no sides. But another story, another day.
It's really, really tough. Your article and your Ask Ira, did the Heat do enough at power forward? Enlighten us, young man.
Well, this I've sort of, look, it's the same with every team and every year in free agency and off seasons. You fall in love with the players you get. You're told in statements by Pat Riley and the players how this is going to work out and it's going to be perfect. And you have that week or two of, okay, we've got this all settled. And then you could even see in the press conference you just carried with Coach Flores, you start to deconstruct and actually ask legitimate questions. Yes, PJ Tucker won an NBA championship, is beloved for his defense. I get it. Yes, Markieff Morris is 2 years removed from his own championship, is certainly a feisty player. And yet, Big O, if you look at every game the Heat are going to play this year, I assume they're going to start PJ Tucker. Maybe they start Markieff Morris. Maybe they interchange the two. You can make an argument when we sort of do the positional matchups, if you still believe in that sort of thing, the Heat will be at a deficit at power forward just about every game. Even in their own division, some of the matchups, whether it's against a Jonathan Isaac, whether you look at, whether it's, playing Charlotte or playing Washington or Atlanta, certainly with John Collins. And so I'm sort of stepping back, and I understand you can't have everything. We know that with the Dolphins. We know that with the Marlins and all their teams. There's always going to be a position where someone will be better. but I'm just wondering if it's enough. And I just get this feeling, just as the Heat every year at the buyout deadline try to shore up one certain position, I think it's almost a season opening tryout at power forward. Show us you can make it work, PJ Tucker, in our system. Show us Markieff Morris, you can make it work. Maybe Omar Yurtseven, show us you can make it work. Maybe we'll play smaller, like I raised the possibility, Jimmy Butler or Duncan Robinson defending at that position. You'll work through all of those. But I think I have to step back a little bit and what the Heat did at power forward and go, yeah, it was good, but you can't be overwhelmed by that. I feel good about other positions on the court with Duncan Robinson's three-point shooting, Jimmy Butler's toughness, Kyle Lowry's playmaking, Bam Adebayo's versatility. I think it's the other thing. Hey, every sport you do this. Oh, you find a position, you say there's questions, Dolphins, offensive line, for example. I think power forward's going to be that spot.
Yeah, and it sounds like there are pieces that are incomplete at power forward. Like you'll use a guy as a specialist at power forward because you need his defense. And
Correct.
you use a guy at power forward because he's a specialist because he'll be your offensive guy. And you know, the crazy part is what I wanted to follow up when we brought this up, and I read it on at the Sun Sentinel, which all of you should subscribe and support Ira and all the great journalists that are there at the Sun Sentinel. But the one thing that I want, it's almost like you're saving is a guy that we really got to hope that he develops because, you know, when you were talking with Clay on Wednesday, the possibilities of having two bigs out there.
Yeah.
And when you asked Clay, he was like, well, maybe a little bit or something. But if your Saban actually can be serviceable on the defensive side, and we know he has the offensive skills, then all of a sudden you might have a little bit more presence, you know, on defense, and you might have that big guy that could help you out because it looks like he's athletic enough that he could bounce around from 4 to 5.
And that's the thing, and that's part of the equation here also. If you want to go big, maybe even Dwayne Dedmon, who had his moments last year for about a month or so, but that means Bam being more of an offensive threat. And maybe that is his jump. Maybe that is the next step. Maybe what started in the Olympics and his offseason, all of a sudden, look, we loved the floater last year. We loved that mid-range jumper from the elbow. Maybe the threes are coming. Look, tomorrow in Springfield, the Hall of Fame, Chris Bosh going to be inducted. In his first, I forgot what it was, Cooper Moorhead of the Miami Heat wrote a story today about Chris. I think his first 5 seasons, he never had more than 12 three-pointers in the season. Then all of a sudden the light goes off. He realizes that's where the league is. So if Bam Adebayo becomes enough of an offensive threat, you can usually get by without one guy being an offensive threat and still have enough spacing on the court. So part of it's on Bam also. Part of it is what's the next step for Bam? What's the next level? Is it consistent all-star? Is it all NBA? Is it among the elite? Maybe not Jokic, but the top 3 centers, say behind Jokic and Joel Embiid. That's part of it also. That can also solve the power rotation. So I think Bam is a big part of that. If Bam is a perimeter offensive player, all of a sudden, like you mentioned, Yurtseven, or maybe even Dwayne Dedmon, you can go in another direction because let's face it, the last vision of the Miami Heat last season was being absolutely pummeled on the boards by the Milwaukee Bucks in that first round playoff sweep.
Yeah, Yurtseven is how it is. Yurtseven, that's how it's pronounced.
You know what? I think we'll go back and forth on that, and he'll tell us. But you know what? It's all Turkish to me.
Okay, all right, okay. Speaking of off season, and I encourage all of you to go back and listen to the Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint show because Ira and Clay talked about so many issues there that I think Heat fans are going to love a lot of things that they talked about, and also some NBA issues always every week. But one of the things you guys talked about was Tyler Hero and the new Tyler Hero, the bulked up Tyler Hero, the guy that is now muscles all over the place. Is this message sent, message received, or is it all from within that he understood? He has an awareness of what happened to him last season. Nobody had to tell him, and he went out and did it. Which one does it really doesn't matter in a way, because at least he's doing it and he's taking those steps to become the more complete player and the more responsible player, especially on the defensive side of the court. But is it message sent, message received, or is it a self-motivating thing that he realized his shortcomings from last season?
Oh, I got to be careful how I phrase this so it's not taken out of context and just as a single sentence. But I have seen some amazing semi-naked men in the Heat locker room with Adonis-like muscles and it didn't translate. In other words, you and I have seen bodybuilders in there. I'm going to throw a name at you. This is old time, but you're old time, old school. Do you remember this player by the name of Jim Rowinski?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
He was like didn't we call him Robo
Exactly. The guy was muscled to the hilt. He could have been Schwarzenegger. He could have been any of those guys. That's what he was. But he wasn't a basketball player. He was at Purdue in college. He had his moments, but that was it. So again, I love that players can reshape and sculpt their body. But you know what? Oh, when you talk to the veterans, and I know it's the same way in football and other sports, they're also a little careful because they talk about, if I bulk up, do I lose my quickness? If I drop the weight, do I lose my strength? Look, that was the issue every year with Chris Bosh. He would go in and he would say, am I a power forward or am I a center? And I also had this conversation with Justice Winslow. Remember, Justice Winslow came in the league with the big body, but then he wound up playing some point guard. So what was his offseason? How is he going to resculpt? You know, you're a big movie guy. You know how so many times in the movies, the De Niros and the Pacinos will totally change their body type to play a role. They'll put weight on, they'll take it off. Players are that way also. What Tyler did this offseason, at least the visual proof from his Instagram photo, which is all we have now. Angles can lie. Photoshop is amazing. But what he did shows he can be a stronger presence. Will he be as quick a presence, as nimble a presence? Remember, defense was an issue. That's mostly quickness and nimbleness also. Or now, could the Heat maybe play with the three a little bit more, like you and I talked about, going with smaller lineups? So when Oladipo comes back and you have Lowry, you can maybe include Tyler Hero in that rotation on the wing also. Have to see how it translates. The muscles are impressive. I would give him a 9.5 as one of the judges if I'm holding the card up for the beauty contest, so to speak. But you need to see it on the court as well.
Yeah, no, listen, just to follow up what you were talking about, I don't know if I've ever seen a better body than Sylvester Gray. And
okay.
And the athleticism was marvelous, yet he could never put it together and be the basketball player. You know what I mean? Harold Miner was built. He was cut up.
He was chiseled also. Eric Dampier, the Heat have had a bunch of those. That's a part of the equation.
And meanwhile, Keith Askins was a pole and was shut your ass down.
Yes. If there are smaller ankles ever in South Florida, I want to see them. Exactly. Yes. He was Robert Covington before Robert Covington became Robert Covington.
Yeah. Although small calves and ankles, believe it or not, Troy Drayton would give him competition. Troy Drayton was the oddest looking dude. And sorry, Troy, I love you. You know I love you. But he had this big old V-shaped body, right? He had these big old thighs. And then all of a sudden his calves went like really small and ankles. And you were like, damn, what happened? I think he used to tell me, man, I work on them, but they.
Sure. It's like when you're drawing a stick figure. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, they just don't expand. So, okay, so it's nice to see at least that he is self-motivated in that area and going now we have to see if it translates. But listen, one is not going to happen without the other. So it's nice to see that he is thinking about that.
Good starting point. Exactly.
Right. What is Duncan doing to kind of do some of that also?
Duncan has done the exact same thing. Duncan has worked on his body also, has built himself up. He said that. He said, I can't get pushed around. Again, he could be an option as a defensive four, potentially, depending on how the other team is running their offense. Also, the other thing is, and this is important because I've seen this all the time. Some of these guys who generally tend to be smaller and lighter guys can put it on during the offseason. But in the NBA grind of 4 games a week, of playing for 6 months straight, it just naturally comes off because they're working, they're practicing, they're doing strength training, they're playing games. So not only can you add it, can you maintain it? The Ferrans, Bill Ferran, now his son Eric Ferran, who took over as Heat strength coach, they've done a very good job with that. So again, what we've seen from Duncan and Tyler Hero in August and early September is fantastic. Let's go back in July, in January and February, because you know what? We've seen the other side. We've seen the guys drop the weight. We've seen fantastic Dion Waiters. Remember those Instagram posts and James Johnson in the summer? And you're like, oh my God, those guys finally got it. And then you get back in February, you get back in March, and you realize same old, same old. It's like, and I don't mean to be offensive by saying this, but we've all gone through this. It's like all these diets we go on, and we feel so good, and then a few months later, it's back. So again,
if you look at my face, I was kind of smiling and laughing because I envy these guys.
yes,
I know it sucks for them that they lose their body as the year goes on, but Ira, what I would give to have that metabolism.
yes, that's exactly, and also, and the ability to do that and not yo-yo like the rest of us. That it has to not only be July and August, but it has to be the other 10 months of the year also. So we'll see. Look, I'm encouraged. Anyone who puts in any type of work at all in what otherwise can be their off season, God bless them. Now we get to camp. Less than 3 weeks away, almost 2 weeks away, coming up on Tuesday. Then we'll see what the tangible results are.
Now, when you talked about Chris Bosh, I thought about something. And one of the things that you love about Chris Bosh or LeBron James or Dwayne Wade or Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, these guys were all great basketball players, but they cerebral. They're that part of it, the part of the game, the thinking game. They understood that part too, and what they needed to do to get better, what they needed to do to adjust as they got older to stay effective, whatever it is.
Sure,
they figured out what they had to do to involve their teammates, improve their game, all of those things. How cerebral is Tyler Hero? Duncan gives me that impression that he is a cerebral player. How cerebral is Tyler Hero, or does he depend more on athleticism, in other words?
Oh, I would put it this way. Never confuse IQ with basketball IQ. They're two different things. I've seen some of the absolute most brilliant people in the world, the late Alec Hessler, and then you see on the basketball court, not so much. Right. I've seen some of the, whatever word you want to use this, simple people who have amazing basketball IQ. Mm-hmm. I think the culture that Tyler was raised in, from where he played scholastically, where he played for John Calipari at Kentucky, having played for Eric Spoelstra, worked with Pat Riley, I think he has an outstanding basketball IQ. I think he gets it. I think he gets the game and knows the game. I think Duncan Robinson's a little bit different. When you are raised sort of in the Division III level, when you're not necessarily a starter at Michigan, you're not being, whatever Spoelstra always said, fed through a fire hose of information, because no one ever really invested the time in you thinking there would be a need to invest in you. So I think Duncan, to a degree, even though he's older, is playing catch up a little more than a guy like Tyler Hero. I think that's why they like to have Jimmy when one of the two has to be the four, playing Jimmy in the four. He could diagnose the pick and rolls. He can set the defense. He can be a bit more vocal. A guy who's really great at that, who we're not going to talk about as much because he's not going to play as much, is Max Strus. Max Strus is a really good quarterback on the field, but as you know, from your football experience, there are guys who are football savants who know everything what they can do. But if they have a wet noodle as an arm, it doesn't matter also. I think Tyler brings both together. I think Duncan is still part of his learning curve.
All right. Remember, follow Ira on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Catch him there. Ira, the whole Ben Simmons thing, can we pull up the video? I don't know if you saw Charles Barkley and Shaq. They started talking a little bit about Ben Simmons, and I got to tell you, they ripped into him. But the rip job was, I think it was, in other words, I would say it was on target. I think they really hit the nail on the head when describing this entire situation and the way Ben Simmons has kind of handled all of this. Go ahead, fire away.
Looks like that the Ben Simmons Philadelphia 76ers experiment is going to end ugly.
Well, I'm disappointed in Ben Simmons. When you give somebody $200 million to dribble a stupid basketball, and the only thing you ask them is be better as a player, and their first response is, I don't want to play here anymore. That disappoints me as a player. It disappoints me as a fan. They're not saying, hey, come over here and cut my grass. They're saying, Ben, we need you to learn how to shoot the basketball.
I have G14 classification to say what I'm about to say. Okay. And so does Charles Barkley. Ben Simmons, you're not that good. And then in this league, do you want to be good or do you want to be great? You're not great. But if you want to get to that next level, you have to be great. And to be great, you have to work on your game. Don't be putting pictures on your Instagram or your Ferrari or what actress you're hanging around with. When you play for a town like Philadelphia, Boston, LA, Miami, hard-working town, they don't give a shit about none of that. They want you to come, work hard, and play hard. I was at that game 6 when that man didn't even look at the basket. And I know as a player, first thing I do is I look in the player's eyes. That man was out there terrified. Not terrified of playing, but terrified of being fouled and missing free throws. Forget all that.
What's crazy, when you see the videos that he put up, he's making those shots that he didn't take. Like,
making them,
Hey,
yes.
Spice, I live in Philadelphia during the summer. This is the 3rd year in a row they put up them buzz jump shots during the summer. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe anymore.
You know, a lot of these people, you hear from your followers how good you are, how great you are, but you're hearing from some OGs right now. You ain't that damn good. And I said it, and I said what I said, and Chuck said what he said. If you don't like it, do what you got to do. But you ain't that damn good.
You know, that I think that was fantastic conversation there.
Sure.
Blunt, and maybe that's the other hurdle that the Sixers are having and Ben Simmons. You want to move on with your career, but you want to move on and you want somebody else to assume the responsibility of that contract, but yet you don't want to assume responsibility for your own game. And there isn't a player that you've ever met in your life, Ira, that you've covered that didn't have to work on his game. I don't give a shit if you're Michael Jordan. I don't care if you're LeBron James. I don't care if you're Chris Bosh or Dwayne Wade. Every one of those dudes had to work on their game and get better and better. Magic Johnson was a great player, a clutch player, a money player, and yet he developed a three-point shot. It was kind of like a shot put, so did Jason Kidd. They weren't great shooters when they got into the league, and not that they ended up great shooters, but they worked on improving their shot, and they became a threat from three-point range. Magic developed that little baby hook. You name the great players, and they all developed something to make themselves better. And I think they hit it on the head. That might be the one hurdle that could be stopping everything. The Sixers from moving on, or Simmons from finding a home that says, yeah, if you're willing to work, we're willing to work with you.
And yet, if he doesn't develop that shot, Shaq couldn't develop a free throw. Charles Barkley couldn't develop an NBA championship. You don't always have everything. He's a great defender. He's an all-league defender. He still was voted an all-NBA player. He's an all-star. So, the one thing I would say is this, to sort of be devil's advocate with that whole video you just played with Shaq and Charles Barkley.
Sure.
Doc Rivers threw Ben Simmons under the bus at the end of that series. You don't do that to your player. Joel Embiid threw Ben Simmons under the bus after that series, came back recently on Twitter and said, we're brothers and we're together and that's all that. So if I'm Ben Simmons and you're asking me to put in the work and you're telling me that I need to offer more and make the right play, it would be a lot easier if I knew you had my back. Eric Spoelstra has issues with a lot of his players, not publicly. Pat Riley has issues with a lot of his players, will only pick the strongest, the LeBrons and those, to publicly discuss and to challenge, knowing when he can. After what Doc and Joel Embiid, the two definitive other leaders of the Sixers, did that, I can understand where Ben Simmons is coming from. You didn't have my back at my weakest moment. So I think for the 76ers to hold on and not do anything and let it get to the point of Ben Simmons possibly skipping camp, you know what? I put it on Daryl Morey. I put it on Doc Rivers, because they're the people who could have done something and never had it come to this situation. Yes, Ben Simmons might need to do more. Yes, Ben Simmons might not be approaching it the right way on social media. But you know what? It's almost like he was sort of getting pushed a little bit out the door. And now he's saying, okay, I'll open that door and I'll walk out gladly. I don't know if I could blame him 100% for that.
I just wonder if there's more behind the scenes that we don't know about and why all of this frustration is.
I know behind the scenes, because he wants to be a face of a franchise. And Joel Embiid, with his outgoing personality, with his social media presence, with his trolling from day one with Ben Simmons, it's always been about Joel Embiid. And I think it kills Ben Simmons to have to be number 2. And yet, and I think you'd agree with me, Ben Simmons isn't good enough to be a number 1.
Right,
if Ben Simmons goes to Minnesota, he's probably going to be number 2 to Karl Anthony Towns. If he goes to Cleveland, he might be a number 1 for a horse crap team. So it's what you want. Sometimes the hardest thing to do in the NBA is to realize you're a number 2. Yet Dwayne Wade accepted it, won championships. Chris Bosh accepted it, won championships. Kevin Garnett, even in Boston, accepted it, won a championship. I think that's where Ben Simmons is. You know what? There's 2 ways to go in any NBA career. You want to be a champion, or you want to be a star. I think we know which of those two paths that Ben Simmons would prefer.
Which, and having said all that, and not that I want him here, but I know that this is one of the few franchises that possibly could resurrect his career and make him better, maybe give him some confidence. But seeing what he is and what you just said now, there's nothing about him that fits a Heat player, right? It doesn't.
Unless he sits down with Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra and said, I'm willing to be a third option. I understand this is Jimmy's team. I understand this is Bam's team. I understand Kyle's here. I'm going to be a number 3. We're going to go win a championship. Then I would embrace the guy. Might even send out Tyler, Hero, whatever else I have to. Yeah, I probably would, because there's a unique talent there. The Heat can make it work. Now that Jimmy Butler is the guy that he wasn't in Philadelphia, Ben Simmons will know who he has to accede to and who he doesn't.
And by the way, that'll solve your article about the power forward thing.
Yes, and then you can move anyone around. Like, man, you talk about Eric Spoelstra being positionless. You have Ben Simmons, who's the ultimate positionless player. Honestly, can guard centers also. Yeah. That changes the equation. Not happening. They don't have the draft choices. They don't have the player capital the Sixers want. But you know what? You become enough of a distressed asset. Pat Riley's just sitting there is going, okay, I'll wait a week. I'll wait a month. I'll wait 6 weeks. I'll wait to the trade deadline. Hey, you never know.
Ira, what folks, if they want to subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel, what are you working on so Heat fans and NBA fans can check you out over the next couple of days?
2 big pieces. One posted this morning. It was about Pat Riley going to present Chris Bosh for the Hall of Fame tomorrow in Springfield, saying he's at a point in his career he wants to make it right with all those that he might have slighted along the way. And he spoke to me about Magic Johnson, forced him out as Lakers coach. They've totally regenerated that relationship. Shaquille O'Neal, he was going to punch in the face at practice. He raised Shaquille O'Neal's jersey to the rafters. Dwayne Wade, 2016. Well, after that, they were out in the Caribbean dancing on a boat. He raised Chris Bosh's number 1, and he said it meant so much to him to have Chris invite him to make him one of his presenters tomorrow at the Hall of Fame. And he was very honest. At 76, he says, look, I don't want to end my career or my life this way. I want to come full circle. I want to make things right. So I thought that was beautiful. That's now on the line in the sunsentinel.com, being tomorrow's paper. And then in Sunday's paper and online tomorrow, I went back and looked at Chris Bosh's career in 3 moments in time that could have changed everything. What if Dwayne Wade went number 4 to the Raptors instead of Chris Bosh in 2003 and Chris Bosh went to the Heat? Where would the butterfly effect have left the Heat? What if Chris Bosh stayed with Chicago? He met with them, told the Bulls, I am all in with Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, and Luol Deng. There was no big 3. What would have happened then? And what would have happened in 2014 when Chris Bosh agreed to a 4-year, $88 million deal with the Houston Rockets to play alongside Dwight Howard and James Harden and challenge the Warriors before they had Kevin Durant in the Western Conference? And when I discussed that with Chris, I also asked him this. And what if the Rockets, unlike the Heat, said, you can play through your blood clots. We'll let you play. And Chris told me, this is one of the quotes in the story. He says, you know what? I'm a competitor. I probably would have played, and I might not be here today. So I think it's interesting. Chris Bosh, 3 distinctive times of what might have been would have changed his universe and the Miami Heat's universe.
Yeah, and by the way, if he leaves to Houston, Miami doesn't have those cap issues either. They have more flexibility post, LeBron and all that.
All of those are different worlds.
That might have been the positive side of that to the
Or do you not trade for Goran Dragic? Do you have those draft choices? Do you start rebuilding? Right. Does Dwayne never leave, like you mentioned? So I thought it was a great exercise. Chris was great with it. Pat was great with it. I have their strong voices in the story. That'll post tomorrow at sunsentinel.com and be in your Sunday South Florida Sun Sentinel.
There, you got to check it out. Subscribe, support. Follow them on Twitter, folks, at Ira Heat Beat. Excellent work, as always, there at the Sun Sentinel. Excellent work here all week long on the show. Ira, thank you, sir. You have a fantastic and safe weekend, my friend.
And go sell some more Acuras over there at Acura Pembroke Pines. Thank you, Big O.
Damn right. Sell and lease, baby, right here. Acura Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
There we go. We thank Ira Winderman. That's going to be a good piece, man. I am looking forward to that piece. I can't wait to read that one. There's going to be some great reaction. We'll get there. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ira Winderman, as always. Sean Stanley by my side. We're coming to you live from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Proud sponsors of our program for over 11 years now, man. Just absolutely amazing. Come on out and see Larry Schlossberg and all the great people out here at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. We'll be out here till a little bit after 1 o'clock. So please come on by and say hi. Really would like to see you out there. Let's see. Give us a smash, man. Smash the hell out of that like button. Let's get it over 300, man. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. I love it. Let's see. Dougie Fresh says, Ira started the conversation about collective action for macro good. So mine was germane, but not as sexy as yoga pants. Point taken. There we go. Sexy. Yoga pants are sexy. Well, it all depends on who's wearing the yoga pants, right? There are some people that should not be wearing yoga pants. Let's see. Stefano says, does anybody know when Ira's interview is done? I'm sorry, Dougie Fresh. I missed that. What'd you ask? Considering your thoughts on how society can work towards a collective goal, what role, if any, do professional sports play in that? Well, I mean, when it comes to that, it's just setting examples. That's all it is. Whether you're an actor or you're an athlete, whoever, you're setting examples for other people, and hopefully those people that admire you or follow you or whatever, they start thinking like you, that this is a good idea for me to do this because it's for the collective good. Let's see now. A couple of questions earlier before Ira. Greg Wood says, with crypto, do you have to let it sit for a year like stocks to avoid huge tax implications? Like I said, when you are going to have capital gains in anything, doesn't matter if it's a gift, doesn't matter if it's a lottery. Like if I gave Sean right now $100,000, not that I have it, Sean, but anyways, if I gave Sean $100,000, that becomes capital gains for him, and he has to now declare it to the government, and he will then have to pay taxes. If you inherited, capital gains. If you sold your stocks and you bought them at $10 and they went up to $100, well, then you're going to pay capital gains on those $90 for every single stock that you own. So if it's $9,000, you're going to pay your percentage out of that money. You know what I mean? So all these kind of things come with the whole process. It doesn't matter what you invest in, my man. You buy a house and then you fix it up and you flip it and you made $30,000, you're going to pay taxes on those $30,000 that you made and the profits. They have their hand in everything. You know what I'm saying? So in crypto, you have to learn to be, I would say, creative in all of this. You know what? There is a, I want you to do this because it would take too long for me to explain, but go to YouTube and find out. There are several videos and really good videos talking about how to avoid paying taxes with crypto. And I'm telling you, there's several videos there that'll walk you through that and explain it. It would take way too long and really boring for me to do it. That I would suggest for you to do. You're going to have to pay some taxes, whether you want to or not. But there are creative ways where you can move your crypto around where you're not paying it until you're actually taking it and passing it to your. Once you pass it to your bank account, you are screwed. Okay? But there are ways that you can try to work through it. Mark Bond says the old banking system is on its way out. All fraud is void for any effect. No statutes of limitations on fraud. We are filing AO91 criminal complaints forms as fast as we can. Okay? I do agree with some of that. Michael Bustamante, aloha Big O from Hawaii on this Aloha Friday. Aloha, Michael. Thank you, sir. With what you saw last night, Cowboys kept it close. Do you think even now the Dolphins have a better chance winning against the Bucs? Your thoughts? I think the Dolphins can beat any team on their schedule. that's the difference now between the Dolphins and the Dolphins 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where I thought when they were going up against an elite team, they had no shot. It would take a miracle to win that game. That's not the case anymore with the Dolphins. The Dolphins have a coaching staff now. They have a coaching staff that prepares their players. They have a coaching staff that will adjust from series to series, from quarter to quarter, from half to half. Adjustments are made. There's another level of IQ now on that sideline that hasn't been there in a long time. And then the talent has gotten better for 3 straight years. So I don't look at any game as a loss on the Dolphins' schedule anymore. Now, am I going to tell you they're going to win all the games? No, I'm not, man. I think they'll win 11 games this year. So obviously they're going to lose 6. So you're not going to be perfect. But as a Dolphin now, I don't fear any game anymore. So if they play the Chiefs, they got a shot. If they play the Bucs, they got a shot. If they play the Bills, they got a shot. That's just the way I look at it, man. To me, it's not any of that anymore. I'm just not. I'm not there anymore with the Dolphins like that. I used to be like that, where yeah, it's a loss, and I just had no respect for the man on the sidelines, the people sometimes in the front office, the lack of preparation of the. Listen, you know how I feel. It's Manny Diaz. I used to have that feeling about the Dolphins. I used to piss off a lot of you Dolphin fans when I didn't believe in all these coaches that they had in the past. Used to piss off a lot of you. These guys are different, man. I feel like this is a completely different organization than in the last couple of years. So I don't go in with this defeated attitude like I've had in the past. With the Canes and Manny Diaz, I have an absolutely defeated attitude. Omar ready? Not yet? Okay. I know Omar Kelly's going to be joining us any minute now. Sometime in the next couple of minutes, Omar Kelly will be popping up. But that's where I'm at with the Dolphins. I really like where we're going. I really do. I haven't felt like this in 20 years. A little more than 20 years, actually, because I never really, while personally I like Wannstedt because he's a really good man, I never was convinced that he was the guy that was going to take them to any kind of promised land. He just didn't give me the impression that he was a championship type head coach. Jimmy was the last guy that I really thought, okay, because of what he had done in the past. But, then after everything took over and the cap and all that and all the other reasons, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. But this is the time now where I feel like they're going to be competitive against anybody that they face. They're not going to beat them all. And if they lose, that's because the other team earned it. And hey, man, you got to tip your hat. That's all you do. You tip your hat to the people that can beat you from. But what Miami isn't doing anymore is giving away games. That's not going to happen. Latavius Murray also signed. Yes, I saw that, a 1-year deal. Thank you all for keeping me up to. So the Ravens, let me explain something. What's going on with the Ravens? Okay. Because they signed Le'Veon Bell. They signed now Latavius Murray. They signed Devonta Freeman. And do you know what's going on now here for the Ravens? The Ravens have to have a dominant running game. I'll give you an example. Last night, you watched the game. And I'm going to give you something that, this is something that most people won't even think about. They might think it's kind of crazy to even think about this or bring it up. But last night's game, let's go over last night's 31-29 game. I want to read some important stats to you. Ezekiel Elliott ran 11 times for 33 yards. Leonard Fournette ran 9 times for 32 yards. So combined, it's 20 carries for 65 yards. That's 3 yards a carry. I think that's what my math says, right? 20 for 65. Am I correct there? Right? 20 for 65, right? 3. 3-point whatever, right? Okay. Now, the Ravens then went and scooped up every back that was available. After Gus Edwards also now goes down. And do you know why they did that? And this is why I have yet to buy. I know he's a phenomenal athlete, a freakish talent in itself, Lamar Jackson. And this is why I don't buy Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. Do you think the game is 31-29 last night with no running game? You think Lamar Jackson can stand there toe-to-toe throwing the ball against Dak or Tom Brady? Get the hell out of here, dude. And the Ravens know that if they don't have a dominant running game going, and if they don't have another guy that's a threat off of him, because when he does, the RPOs, you've got to buy it. You got to buy it that it's Devonta Freeman. You got to buy it that it's Le'Veon Bell. You got to buy it that it's Latavius Murray. And if you feel those guys are washed up, then let me tell you, Lamar Jackson's going to have a long year. And they know that if they don't have a dominant running game, they don't have a guy that can win games with 30 yards rushing. Because that's what happens in the playoffs every year to Lamar Jackson. They shut down the run, and they shut him down. Because if he can't run, he can't play the position. And that's what's going on with the Ravens. So when you're watching them pick up all these backs, it's pure desperation picking up those backs. They have no choice. They have to load up with backs. And now that they have older backs that have tread on them, and that's what they've picked up, those guys are more susceptible to getting worn out. And if they're not a threat anymore, if you feel Devonta Freeman's lost a step or two and he's not going to burn you anymore, then they're going to be loaded up to knock the crap out of Lamar Jackson. That's what's going on with the Ravens. They have to do this. If they don't do this, they're screwed. And they're going to have a really long season overall. Doesn't matter what their defense does. If that running game doesn't dominate, their offense ain't jack shit. Unless somehow or another, all of a sudden he became a great passer. But in his dreams, he can't beat Dak Prescott. Forget Tom Brady. He can't beat Dak Prescott. So when you watch all those backs that they're signing, they've had so much bad luck, they had to plan ahead. It's not really that they want all three backs on the roster, but they have no choice because of what's gone on. And they have to be ready with the next guy and the next guy and the next guy because there aren't many options left. And they've scooped up pretty much the options that are left and the ones that people would experiment with because they're experienced backs that already have a lot of tread off the tires, but they might be able to milk it out a little bit more. And that's all desperation right there, ladies and gentlemen, because they know the guy that plays quarterback is not going to bail them out with his arm. They must have a dominant running game. If that running game doesn't put fear in you, they have no shot at beating you pretty much. Because their defense is good, but it's not 2001 good. Okay? Let's get that straight. So that's what's going on with the Ravens right now and why they're signing all those cats. All right, remember, you can reach out to us on the Yahoo email at BigORadioshow@yahoo.com, Twitter, Big O Show, YouTube, of course. You can send in your questions and comments and criticisms. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. We already have somebody smashing the unlike button, too. I like it. There we go. Remember, Cash App or Venmo, best way to support our show for a donation. I know we have Super Chat there, but, YouTube takes away 30%. Cash App and Venmo, we get the entire donation. So send it in, Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. The address is Cash Big O Show. Let's see, what else do we have? Flo, yeah, it's been a while since we played in front of a full stadium of fans, since the fans have been working on their technique, fundamentals, practice well, too. Yep, there you go. Drew Boo goes, I got nothing out of Flo's presser. They are like much to do about nothing, and his players follow the same MO. Basically, you have no idea what I'm thinking, and my players are going to give you the same. And a lot of time, if you're a good team, I'm good with that, man. I have no problem. Now, if you don't want to talk and you suck, I got a problem. I would keep Liam Eichenberg at left tackle, says Michael. Jesse at right tackle and draft BPA for right tackle next year. I just don't think Austin Jackson is going to be any good. Way too early after one season to give up on him. But that's all right, Michael. You're the same guy that gave up on Gesicki. All you guys that whenever you send me this thing about giving up on a player on 1 year, I know you gave up on Gesicki. I know it. Guaranteed. You're giving up on everybody after a year. Nico, no need to spill any beans before playing your opponent in 2 days. That's right. Well, what are you going to do? Well, our plan at running back is this. Our defensive end rotation, we're going to do this. Now, Jalen Phillips hasn't practiced much, but we're going to unleash him. Yeah, let's just tell Bill Belichick everything you're going to do. Let's see. Washington has a top 5 defense. McLaurin and Gibson and a solid O-line comes down to Fitz playing as well as he did in Miami. My brother, if you are talking about Fitz leading a team to the playoffs, that'll be the first time in his life that he's ever done it. So we'll see. But Washington does have a really good defense and a running game. And Terry is one hell of a receiver. I was a big fan of McLaurin coming out of Ohio State in the draft. Loved him coming out of the draft. Let's see. We bounce off a 50-day MA on Bitcoin. That is why I came on here and said, buy the dip. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm not worried about it, man. Buying the dip is the smartest thing you can do. A lot of people, hey, V-Chain with the drop that was recently would have been a really good investment for you. I just bought more Solana at 168 after I sold it at 210. That's pretty good. That's smart on your part. Very smart on your part, sir. No doubt about it. All right. The time has arrived. Let's talk a little Dolphins football. Omar Kelly, baby, from the South Florida Sun Sentinel, joins us next for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
Right. It's a beautiful thing. Omar Kelly ready to join us here on the program. Omar, we all saw the press conference for the coach, which we realized he gave us absolutely nothing. Did you pick up anything from that press conference, or was he his normal coy self?
Yeah, he does provide a few hints, usually on Friday, that sort of give his thought process. Like he mentioned Liam's injury a couple of times, which kind of hints that it could be in his thought process whether or not he's the starting left tackle. But I fully and in fact,
El Chiquitico.
What? Gay?
Greg Little. El Chiquitico. So that's it. El Chiquitico is small. So we'll call him El Chiquitico on the show. So Greg Little, come on, bro. It's Money in the Bank that he's starting at left tackle. It would be
Greg Little starting at left tackle?
Yeah, unless Austin Jackson's coming back.
Nah, I actually think it's going to be Liam Eichenberg. That's my and while he's not healthy, that's his natural position. If you heard me during or heard the press conference, I basically asked them a question flat out. Yes. Okay, why you have, with all of the Dolphins offensive linemen that they've drafted during the Flores era, everybody has been pigeonholed into one spot, one role. You learn this, you master this, and we'll move from there. From Dieter to Solomon Kinley to Austin Jackson to Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt never took a snap at right guard, the position he's playing now, because they wanted him to get good at right tackle. So why was it different with Liam? And their answer, which I think is a valid answer because it's been a consistent answer, is he's so technically sound and so intelligent that he's been able to do this. Now, he's been able to cross train, and ultimately, I do believe and agree with Brian Flores' approach that we play the best five and we figure out how to make it work. If we're gonna play the best five, it comes down to Solomon Kinley or Liam Eichenberg. And because you say whatever you want, you're not replacing Jesse Davis. It's just not. It's just not happening until that knee falls apart. Yeah,
right.
Until so that's why they had Liam working at left guard, and they cross-trained him at right tackle to get him comfortable or try to get him comfortable playing on the right side. He clearly wasn't really a big fan of it, even though I think that that's kind of the most important position for him because, that's to his blind side, which is a very important area to protect. So, but, left tackle is his home. Left tackle is the place he's played 38 games in his college career. So, he's played over 2,000, if not 3,000 snaps at left tackle. So it should come second nature. Now, the level of competition, that's a wholly different thing. And also the injury. The injury is a factor. Injury is a factor. But my thing is, if you're going to put him on your active, and I know it's all based on practice performances, but if you're going to put him on your active, why not give him the best opportunity to succeed by putting him out there early as opposed to having to putting him out there because Little is struggling and then he's got to adjust, or because why make it a surprise? Just go rip the Band-Aid off and go right in.
Yeah, I understand that. The only problem is it's on the road in New England against a really good front. And I think that to make him coming off an injury,
people say that's a really good front. I need this proof that that's a really good front. I like what makes them a really good front? Because they added Judon and Kyle Van Noy's return.
And Highsmith is back too, right? Or Hightower.
Hightower. I mean,
Hightower's a badass, bro.
When you say front, I'm always thinking about defensive line, not necessarily.
But that
defensive line and edge players.
He might have to deal with Jude on a blitz. You know what I'm saying? So that could end up happening. And you know, Bill's going to F with these guys.
Yeah, Bill's going to attack you weekly.
He's going to do stunts. He's going to do all kinds of things. He's going to try to make them overthink things.
But here's my point to you and to everybody else who's saying, "Oh, the rookie can't handle it. The rookie isn't ready. Or the rookie isn't whatever." Bill is going to attack who's ever at left tackle. Is he not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So why not put the guy with the most upside there? And why not at least let him learn from it?
Or why not put the guy that already has NFL experience and isn't isn't dealing with an injury?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. They're both second round picks, so you're splitting hairs with me.
Right.
And in fact, I like Greg Little, but I like him as a guard to replace Solomon. I don't necessarily think of him as a tackle. I think he's a guy who a tackle you can move inside. Because think about it, their whole line is tackles. Their whole line is they want a big, massive tackle line.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. It's just I just kind of feel that you'll start with Little, and then if he struggles, and since he's a little bit more of a veteran and has some experience, you give him the opportunity. If not, then you go with the kid. It's just I kind of feel rough that the kid hasn't had a full training camp and full offseason. He's dealt with several injuries now. And then we're all going to all of a sudden throw him into the fire to be the guy there at left tackle. That would be a lot to ask for the kid. That's the only reason why I'm convinced
they
that
did
Little
it. They did it. Austin Jackson. They
had no choice last year because that's all you had. Now you have an option. Now you have
Julian Davenport had started 20-something games.
Now you have what we call so-called depth.
Julian Davenport had started 20-something games, so it wasn't all you had. It's their approach, and this is what got Pat Flaherty fired, is to throw offensive linemen into the deep end and see if they swim. That's been their approach. How is this any different?
Well, the injury is the difference.
The injury is the difference.
That to me, that's the difference right there. Plus, you haven't had him practicing at left tackle, so all of a sudden now, even though it's his natural position, you're also going to now throw him over there, and he's
chemistry
he's been trying to mentally psych himself and get him, habitually doing everything on the right side instead of the left side. And now you're going to F with him and throw him back to the left. And then all of a sudden say, okay, back to the left. It's Patriots week 1. Let's go. Foxborough. You do it, kid.
As Bill Belichick used to say, if the puppy don't bite, then the dog don't bite.
No, I get you. I just, if he was healthy, I'm with you. If he wasn't dealing with injuries throughout the offseason, because they've kept him from practices, they've kept him from games, all these kind of things have stopped him from getting opportunities.
Hold on. Same thing with Jalen Phillips, and yet Dolphin fans will be upset, disappointed, angry if he's not out there starting.
Yeah, but he's played.
He's played 2 preseason games, yeah.
Yeah, and he's had practice time. So and also the difference is he's healthy, really. It's not like he's out really with injuries. He's healthy right now.
Yeah, they're all not on the injury report. So you're correct. You're fair. That's fair.
And he's playing with a group of injury-prone players. So they got to rely on him at this point in time. It's almost kind of by default also, too. You know what I mean? So the rookie's got to be thrusted in there and say, hey, if we don't have Will Fuller, he's suspended. Parker, we don't even know if he can finish a game.
Preston, I said Jalen Phillips, not Jalen Waddle. But yes, I hear what you're saying.
I see what you're saying. Phillips. Okay, you're talking about Phillips.
But it still applies. None of them are on the injury report. So
right. Yeah. But also Phillips, that's why he's probably third string right now. And who knows if that's how he plays on Sunday. If the kid's healthy and he gets in a groove, they'll probably leave.
The way they work is they give, and I like this. I respect this. I think it's a good thing. Except for offensive linemen, they give rookies a role. It's a small role, and depending on how you perform in that little small role, they might put more on your plate. You'll get one package in the 3-4 if you're Jalen Phillips. You'll get one package in the dime if you're Javon Holland. And depending on how you perform, depends on whether or not your role is enlarged. And I don't have a problem with that. My thing is, I don't see, if you're going to have Liam Eichenberg as your swing tackle in the game, which is clearly the worst case scenario, why not have him as your starting tackle in the game?
Well, we're gonna find out. That'll be interesting to see, because I thought for sure you would agree with me on Greg Little. So the argument you've brought up is interesting to see if they actually put the rookie there at left tackle. All right, Tua. I could easily ask you what's going to be the toughest thing on offense for them, and obviously running the ball is going to be really tough for the Dolphins. What's going to be the toughest thing for Tua to overcome on Sunday in your eyes?
Reading the complex defenses that the Patriots are going to throw at him, and the looks that they're going to throw at him, and the things that they're going to take away. Bill Belichick has had an entire year to study Tua, to understand what his strengths and weaknesses are. And as I say about the Bill Belichick team, they're going to take away what you like. They're going to take away your favorite run. They're going to take away your favorite third down play. They're going to take away your favorite pass. And they're going to force you to beat them with your left hand. That's how the Patriots are. And, obviously Tua is a left-handed quarterback. But, yeah, it's he's going to have –
Now, to counter that, no strengths have been shown. No habits have been shown.
Last year, tons of strengths and habits.
They don't know what his favorite play is. They don't know
last year. Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Who?
They do. They got tons of film. Tua had like 1,000 snaps on offense last year.
Who's his favorite receiver? What has habitually developed? I must have missed that.
Yeah, the favorite receiver is Mike Gesicki. Gotcha.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. It is. I think Tua throws to the
Did Mike Gesicki catch more passes by miles than anybody else?
No, but he was also injured. I would argue to you.
But I would also tell you that every tight end is the friend of every young quarterback, because those are the higher percentage passes as it is normally. You know what I mean? That's why I believe Miami wants to go multiple tight ends. I'm convinced.
Not against that team. Oh, hell no. That's a bad idea against that team. The Patriots right now have some injuries in their secondary. They're young, they're green, they're inexperienced. you make them play in their nickel and dime package. You take the linebackers off the field. That plays to your strengths.
Miami right now doesn't have the strength of two tight ends because Shaheem is.
They do. Durham Smythe is on par with Shaquem. Durham Smythe had a good season last year. Durham Smythe, trust me, I've been critical of Durham Smythe. He was slow early.
I disagree with you. Shaheem's a better receiving tight end.
Shaheem is a better player right now, but Durham Smythe is an NFL starter, especially as an inline guy. And they got Sathan Carter, who's, we talked to yesterday, and good God, if there was a Brian Flores player, it's Sathan Carter, just in terms of just like it.
By the way, Poupart loves him. Like he's shocked that he was a better receiver than what he thought.
He was a way better.
You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. He was. I watched practice with Poop because, one, I think we're probably two of the best eyes out there in terms of what's going on. So Poop is one of my favorite guys. I sit next to Poop. It's we sit together and we watch practice, and I can tell you without a doubt, Carter was way better as a pass catcher than I expected. He was more talented than I thought. He was just a H-back, a blocking type, slow. He's not that. He's not that. He's got some wheels to him. Now, I don't know about his knee injury, because he's coming off a knee injury as well. But he has got some wheels to him. And he was it was very early in camp where he was a threat.
Could he be a little secret weapon for them? Because obviously they're hurting a tight end right now. Hunter's young.
They're not hurting a tight end. Don't say that. They're not hurting a tight end. The tight end unit is
but I mean,
on the team.
Omar, what's considered your number 2 and 3 playmaking tight ends behind Gesicki, they're out. One's out. One's very limited because the kid's had injuries. Doesn't have a lot of experience.
Hunter, I don't even count Hunter Long. Hunter Long is
so that's my point.
By mid-season, I'll count Hunter Long.
Okay, but my point is he's considered a future playmaker for this team.
He's the number 4 tight end here, Big O. Like, why am I even?
I get that, but his upside is obviously better.
Yeah, his upside is great. And check back around mid-season. But to me, Durham Smythe and Durham Smythe and Mike Gesicki set records last year. Like, they set records. Like, it wasn't Adam Shaheen.
Yeah, it was.
He contributed a little bit. He contributed a little bit, little something. But it was Durham and Shaheen and Smythe. Smythe actually, I'm not a big Smythe fan, but Smythe balled last year. Smythe did his job. And Gesicki, I'm not a huge Gesicki fan. Gesicki is what he is. He's a glorified slot receiver. And
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't say
why you got to have bias towards receiving tight ends that aren't blockers? What is your hate with those kind of players?
By the definition of tight end, I need you to actually be good at run blocking and pass blocking. It's kind of an important element of the job. Otherwise, you're a slot receiver.
The NFL has adjusted. Why has Omar Kelly not adjusted?
I believe in old school football, Big O. I believe in the run game.
We're in 2020, bro. It's no 3 yards in a cloud of dust
it's
anymore.
Still 1988 for me. I still believe in that style of football.
Where's the wedge? How come we're not blowing up the wedge on returns if we're in 88?
If the Dolphins run for 2,000 yards, I promise you they get to 12 wins. If you take that mentality, you take that mindset, you there's nobody who could stop you. Now, you don't have a line for it, but
2,000 yards. 2,000? That's 14 or 15 wins. They're already going to win 11 or 12 this year.
14 or 15 wins. What you talking about? Nah, let's
give me 2,000 rushing yards.
2,000 rushing yards.
Oh man, we're going to win 14, 15 games. What are you talking about?
Okay, so how are you going to be disrespectful to it if you know that that's going to lead to victory? That's going to lead to a change in attitude, change in tone. Take the pressure off Tua. If you know that's the way, Big O, why not preach it to your people? See, no, you like that fantasy football.
No love for Gesicki, bro. God.
You like that fantasy football. You like that throw the ball 40 times. You like that.
Did you watch last night, bro? Nobody ran the ball. Nobody ran the ball. They all threw. Okay,
I mean,
I'm not sure if you realize it. We're not in the '90s anymore.
Hey,
It's
listen,
a whole different ball game now.
it's two of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks in the league, arguably 2 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. You should throw the ball. Now, if they wanted to run, they could probably run it too, but it was a shootout. You're going to throw the ball in a shootout.
Well, but right, Omar, you can't keep up in a running game. You
Oh, stop it! If I run the ball down, like look, watch the Patriots be physical and attacking and aggressive at the line of scrimmage, and when they run the ball, and this is to me the biggest indicator of how this game is going to go. They're clearly going to run the ball because they want to take the pressure off Mac Jones. So if they can run the ball against the Dolphins, you're in trouble. Correct?
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm telling you, Dolphins runs for 2,000 yards, be a physical running team. They get the 15 wins.
Yeah, 14-15 guaranteed.
Patriots are going to try to smash mouth and run the football at you to take the pressure off of Mac Jones. How is this still a bad strategy?
I'm not saying it's a bad strategy. I'm just saying that the way the league is, it's a different league now, and passing is much more of a premium now.
Without a doubt.
And so
I'm not arguing. But the 49ers made it to the playoffs with a run game.
Yeah, no, I know.
To the Super Bowl with a run game.
Yeah, and because he missed that one pass, they didn't win the Super Bowl. Manuel Sanders, up and down in the field. He hits that one, and that's it, and because you got to pass. You got to pass to win. You can run to set it up, but you pass to win.
Yeah, I know you got to pass the ball, but if you run for $150, you're gonna be in position to win.
All right, so you talked about something so important in this game, my brother, and that's the run game for the Patriots. And they don't have a running quarterback, so Miami gets a break here.
Yeah,
in this one because Cam obviously is a freaking load.
Yeah,
obviously the guy's built like Adonis.
The Dolphins celebrated when Cam got released. You know that, right?
Yeah, because it's one less pain in the ass they have to deal with in the run game. Of course, they're not fearing his arm. It's not like you fear Cam's arm; you fear his legs, his body. But now they don't have that element now. But you still know that they're going to attack them with Harris and the boys, and they're going to want to shove that ball down their throats. Who's going to be the key players here? Give me 2 guys that have to have monster games to control that run game and force Mac to beat you.
Well, there are only 2 people on your team that are run-stopping specialists, and that's Raekwon Davis and Landon Roberts, and they will be playing 40-plus snaps in this game, you would think. And they got to perform. They got to deliver. Raekwon has got to take on 2 and collapse the pocket at times and reset the line of scrimmage. And Landon's got to go in there and be a headhunter, which he's definitely shown us here in practice. He nearly took Ahmed's head off. You could hear that shot from the stadium.
He sells out, bro. He sells out. That's that dude had 2 of the nastiest hits the Dolphins had last year. I mean,
no doubt about it. But my question is he going to be healthy? You're 9 months coming off an ACL injury, and I know we got modern medical miracles now, and everybody only needs 9 months for an ACL injury, and then they come back and tell you a year later that I wasn't all the way back, and this is. I'm sorry, but like 9 months ain't it, bro. Even Xavier said, I didn't feel like Xavier had 10 picks, and he said, I didn't feel like myself till mid-season, which is unreal.
He's a freak talent. So
yeah, he is a freak talent.
He's 80%. He's better than most of the league.
That is correct.
He's one of those kind of dude, like LeBron's at 60-70%. He's better than pretty much the entire league except 3 or 4 guys. Those kind of guys they're at another level. They can still be elite when they're not 100%. That's why they are what they are. Those kind of guys. All right. So, what was your prediction, my brother? As we wrap it up, what happened?
I'm predicting Sunday? I'm predicting a 24-21 Patriots win, and the reason that I'm predicting a Patriots win is because I've seen too many Dolphin seasons go to die in Foxborough. Foxborough is a place, Tom Brady or not, you're not going to get any calls. You're not going to get anything favorable going your way. It just is. And you're not going, the Patriots, the Bill Belichick Patriots aren't going to beat themselves. They're not going to commit penalties. They're not going to commit turnovers. Even with a rookie quarterback, you're going to have to beat them. And because you have to beat them, and you have to beat them physically, you have to intimidate them physically, like Miami did when they beat them down here. It's going to be hard. If the game was in Hard Rock Stadium, I probably would have picked the Dolphins to win. But I've covered this league I've covered this team for 14 years, and I've seen too many things go bad in Foxborough. Too many.
All right. Well, I just want to let you know.
Okay.
Under Brian Flores,
they are 2-2.
They're 2-2.
Yeah.
And at the end of the 2019 season,
he got one in Foxborough.
He ended the Patriots dynasty. Because let's make no mistake here. The Miami Dolphins and Brian Flores ended the Patriot dynasty by telling the GOAT and Bill Belichick, no soup for you. They handed him a loss, and they went back to the wild card round and out. So they can win in Foxborough with less talent. You're going to tell me with more talent 2 years later, you're giving them a loss?
Ryan Fitzpatrick won that game.
So Tua will win this one.
You're right. He could very well.
Can I give you?
I think the Patriots have.
Can I give you something juicy?
Hold on. Let me say this before you give me something juicy. The Patriots have no receivers and no cornerbacks. That's a bad combo. So I'm not saying that I'm totally committed to my selection. I'm only picking it because I know how hard it is to win in Foxborough. Those refs are not going to help you.
It is going to be tough. I'm not going to make it sound easy.
The refs are not going to help you.
But let me enlighten you a little bit here on something that you and Dolphin Nation all over the world should be embracing. So as you noticed, as you said, their cornerbacks aren't great. So they're going to try to pressure Tua one way or another to not expose that secondary. Did you know that Mr. Tua Tagovailoa completed 70% of his passes with less than 2.5 seconds to make a decision? He had 6.4 yards per attempt or per completion, and he had a 92.8 passer rating in situations where he was pressured and forced to throw under 2.5 seconds. So we're talking about a kid now that has another year of experience, more talent, better talent on the field.
I don't know where you get that stat from, and it's a good stat to have, except for the fact it doesn't factor in the RPO offense. You got to get the ball out of your hands quick.
He still gets it out at 2.5 seconds under. He's getting it out under 2. All throws under 2.5.
Analytics will be the undoing of the NFL.
Passer rating.
Analytics will be the undoing of the NFL. You guys are going to let mathematicians and calculus experts take over the sport, and I'm not gonna feel sorry for you because that's a meaningless stat because they run an RPO offense.
No, but that's not a meaningless stat because that means under pressure he performs. I'm so with you on this love affair with stats because stats can be spun one way or another. You've been writing enough articles, you know what I'm talking about. Okay,
stats that you could spin a stat or any.
Excellent writers all over this country, politics, life, entertainment, sports. They can get stats and spin them whichever way they want to do it, and I'm with you 1,000%. But this specific stat is a pressure stat, and to me, that actually matters a little bit. And
it's a pressure stat that doesn't factor in. He runs an RPO offense where the ball has to be out your hands in like 2 seconds.
This is otherwise last year. Last year,
last year he ran an RPO offense. Last year he ran an RPO offense.
It's still pressured, and the kid's getting them rid of the ball quick. And by the way, I saw that throughout the preseason that he made super quick.
Oh, no doubt about it. He's making better decisions. He reads the field very well now. I'm not disputing that, but he also runs an RPO offense, which means they got to get the ball out their hand quick. He can't hold on to the ball for 3 seconds in an RPO offense. So if you give me that stat and throw out every RPO play, I would say, okay, you got a lot of merit to what you're saying. But RPO offense.
So what happened with Tannehill? Because he kind of hung on to the ball.
He didn't run an RPO offense.
Sometimes he did. It's a couple of times towards the end that they tried to do some of that.
RPO has just taken off to the point where
now it's abusive. But I'm just saying they gave him a little elements of that.
Listen, I'm not comparing anything. I'm not comparing. I will not compare Tua to Tannehill. Only reason I'll compare Tua to Tannehill is I'll say Tua right now is at 4th year Tannehill. Like that's what I'll say. And that's the only comparison. Is Tannehill a better quarterback than Tua right now? Yes. Will he be by the time the season's over? Debatable. Will he be by 2023? Absolutely not.
Not even close. Tua will be in the Ring of Honor, the Hall of Fame.
Multiple
Super Bowl champion.
I think you got too much dip on your chip there, Big O. Too much dip on your chip.
You got to have more faith and believe.
Faith and believe in the Miami Dolphins? Hold on. Faith and believe in Miami Dolphins?
And these Miami Dolphins.
The same team that hasn't made the playoffs in 20 years. Same team that hasn't won a playoff game in 20 years.
I'm not worried about those Dolphins. I don't care about those Dolphins. We have turned the page, as Bob Seger would say on those Dolphins.
Show me you've turned the page.
All that incompetence is behind us
Show
now.
me you've turned the page by making the playoffs for the third time in 20 years.
All I have to do is say 2 words to you. Brian effing Flores, bro.
Overrated.
And if you've seen a coach like that the last 20 years here, I'd like to know. Because I haven't seen a coach like that here the last 20 years.
Show me you can win. Show me you can win and take the team to the playoffs. That's what the season's about. Everybody wants to crown them. Show me you can win and take the team to the playoffs.
It's going to happen, baby. All right, Omar. Appreciate you as always. We will talk to you on Sunday, my man, as we cover the Dolphins and the Patriots. It's going to be a fun day. You be good out there. And don't forget, folks, to also subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Support my man, Omar, Ira, and all the great writers at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. They deserve it. Omar, love you, brother. Be good.
All right. Talk to you later.
You got it. There you go. It is the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. Please call Eric. Great people out there. They'll take care of you at EJD. We take a really short break. We wrap this up, and now we switch over to the Canes, baby. Manny Navarro and the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report. That's next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
There we go. Are we good? We back. We're talking some stuff for Sunday. Anyway, we are ready to talk a little Miami Hurricanes and the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. By the way, we will be at Caneswear next Friday. So a week from today, we'll be out there broadcasting live at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. And we thank Brett and all the great people out there for supporting us. Remember, all orders, when you go to caneswear.com, you order over $99, you will get free shipping. And you're going to love that place. It is so addicting to go to that place. I can spend thousands of dollars there. But I need you to beat App State. That's for damn sure. All right, let's get to the meat of the matter. The great Manny Navarro. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Manny, first of all, thank you for showing some patience today. We had a couple of delays today, so I appreciate you adjusting with us, my man. Thank you.
Anytime, brother.
All right. I was just talking about this because for many years I was, as much as I love the Dolphins, I wasn't so looking forward to games being led by Joe Philbin and this and that. And so it was hard for me to get up and get inspired about certain games. And I have that feeling now with Manny, unfortunately. And you know what bothers me about leading up to this week? We have to talk up App State. And I get it. They've done a terrific job with their program. They've lifted their program. They're better. But the fact that we have to talk about this like it being competition for the Miami Dolphins, that's the part that's kind of bothersome. When I have to hear that Miami has to bring their A game to beat App State, and I'm just thinking about, Kane's teams from the past. If they brought their W game, not their A, not their B, not their C, no, their W game, they would have routed these kind of teams in the past.
Yeah, I think it's just the era that we're in, man. I mean, like I said to a couple different people this week, there's 5 teams in college football that are ahead of everybody else, I think, from a talent perspective. And then Miami's in that next group of teams, about 20 to 25 teams that on any given Saturday, they could beat each other. And then after that, you have teams like App State, who, if they play their best and Miami, plays an average game, they could be beaten. We've seen it happen before. I don't think Miami has to play their best game, but I think certainly an average game would make it a tight game here. So they got to play better than average, I think, to beat Appalachian State. They got to make sure that they don't let last week's loss to Alabama, have them come out flat or disappointed and I don't think it will, because I think, frankly, this team corrected a lot of those issues last year. I think the losses at the end to North Carolina and Oklahoma State, when you go back and look at it, those teams on paper were just as good as Miami. It's a flip-flop in my mind, and so this is a team that Miami has more talent than. What makes App State a tougher than average game is the fact that they've got all these guys that are 23, 24, 25 years old that are super seniors that have been in a college program now 6 or 7 years. And so that's what you got to watch out for, because they want this game. This is going to make their season.
Oh, yeah.
Winning a game like this. So I think as long as Manny Diaz does his job, which is what he did, I think, for the most part last year, where he got the guys up for the games that they were supposed to win, and they did, I think then they should win this game. Is it 8 points? Is it 2 touchdowns? Probably something in there. Probably, 2 touchdowns, 17 points, somewhere in there. I think they win this game.
And listen, I know last week sucked and all of that, but actually I saw some moments for that defense where they were stopping that high-powered offense in certain situations. So there were some flashes, I will say, last week, as much as it sucked to watch them lose and get dominated like most of us expected. There were some moments that if you can bring that to the next level teams that you're talking about now that you're going to play, or the level under, you should be able to take care of business, correct?
Yeah, and I think it all starts with De'Aaron King, right? It's him being the difference. I think in years past, when you had a N'Kosi Perry or you had a Jaron Williams, guys that weren't, in my mind, then you were much more beatable in those situations, which is why the quarterback is so important. Yeah. And why I think in a lot of ways Miami was susceptible to being upset, because they didn't have the difference maker quarterback, the guy who was gonna, lead you late on the road at NC State to come back and win that game, or push you past Virginia Tech on the road. They've got that guy now. And in all honesty, I really feel like these next 2 recruiting classes, I know we do it all the time as Hurricanes fans, right? As people who cover this team, the young guys, they're going to be good. I mean, I think you saw some of those guys flash in the Alabama game in moments.
Yeah.
And so there's a reason to say, you know what? It isn't just the same guys. And one thing I'll point out, I did this exercise the other day. I got the starting lineup from the FIU game, okay, when they lost to FIU, and I compared it to the one that they put out against Alabama, the 2 deep. There's still so many guys that played and lost to FIU on this roster. It's incredible. Wow. So you still have to sort of move past that. You have to get rid of those guys and have other guys come and replace them that aren't going to play down to another team's level.
Yeah, and I thought Canes football would take down the video of Micah Irving and Edge saying that they're going to shock the world, and because it's funny, because I think like I see it from afar, you see it up close, and I wonder how those guys lie to themselves, because there's no way that they walk around that field and in those locker rooms and meet those kids and they look at them and they say, oh, okay, yeah, I know. I played with a guy like this. His name is Winston Moss. I played a guy like this. His name is this. His name is that. Like badass dudes that you played with, whatever it was back in those days. I can name the names and endless. Those guys that are in that locker room, how many of them have that dog-like attitude that all those other guys used to have back in the day? And I can't imagine that Michael Irvin sees himself in any of those guys, or Ed Reed sees himself in any of those guys at times. Hell, sometimes when I see Ed Reed on the sidelines talking to kids and they show it's almost like, I would imagine 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was more tough love that you got on the sidelines. Now it's almost like coddling and trying to understand. And I don't know, it just seems like it's a different way of handling these personalities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just think, they had a really special run, man. There was such a tremendous run of talent at Miami. And, I wrote about this a couple of weeks ago, but you look at the 53-man NFL roster, right? Miami always, even when guys were getting old, Clinton Portis was retiring and Ray Lewis was retiring, they still had a lot of guys in the NFL. You look at the list now, I think PFF just put it out today. They're not even in the top 10 anymore. There's 5 guys now in the NFL that Miami has that are potentially NFL starters. I'm not even talking about Pro Bowlers. I'm talking about starting for their NFL team. So you could see that, we've reached the point now where finally all of that great talent that people are, look at all the great players we have playing on Sundays. All those dudes are old. They're retired now. They're all like at the end of their careers. They're really not contributing. So to me, it just shows you, like, you talk about Ed Reed walking around. He doesn't see a guy like himself. No, because there hasn't been a guy like him in a long time around there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't see a Tremaine Mack on this team.
Right.
Okay? I don't see a Jimmy Jones on this team. I don't have to talk about the elite guys. I could talk about the next level guys that were badasses themselves and tough guys and rocks for the team and all that. I don't see that kind of player here anymore. Mm-hmm. That's the rough part. That's why when I look at this game, it's like we got to talk them up. And speaking of Appalachian State, is it about their running game? Is that what you've got to really focus in on? Is that what we're going to try to do, is control the clock and keep King off the board, plus play to their strengths too?
Right. Yeah, they're obviously undersized. They don't have Alabama size by any way, shape, or form, or their depth. But they've got 5 offensive linemen that know how to run outside zone, right? And they know how to block, and they've got 2 running backs that are good players that they've coached up, that 2-star and no-star recruits. One of them's here from Miami Northwestern, a guy who was like a 1,500-yard running back his senior year of high school for Miami Northwestern. Nobody recruited him except Appalachian State, and he's one of the 2 guys that Miami faces now, a guy who's got a chip on his shoulder, thinking, hey, I should have gotten more respect. So, yeah, I mean, that's what they're going to do. Frank Ponce, by the way, former Miami High coach, is the offensive coordinator for App State. So you have a little Manny Diaz versus Frank Ponce matchup here. And, Frank's a guy who's been coaching for 30 years. Now, here's the first year he finally gets to call play. So think about it. You think he's motivated, going into this game to throw some wrinkles at Manny Diaz and to catch him off guard? And so that's what I wrote about today. And, this is a hungry football team that's going to try to run the football. Miami has struggled against the outside zone before. Just go back and put on that North Carolina tape and that Louisville tape, and you'll see it was pretty simple schemes that these guys were running against Miami. And they just couldn't stop it. So Manny Diaz said he saw better tackling against Alabama against it, particularly against that play. So we'll see. I think this is the week where you look at a guy like Corey Flagg, and you look at Keontra Smith, the 2 new starting linebackers. To me, those guys got to play 70 snaps and be in there the whole game. You can't see the also-rans that go in there and can't do the job. They have to be consistent. They have to be good in this game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Manny's, I could call it maybe an excuse or weak explanation for the Bubba Bolden play. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was pretty obvious that it was a spearing, because, the dude went out of his way to go all the way down to spear. And instead of kind of saying this was unacceptable, this was wrong on our part, there was some hemming and hawing about, what that play could have been or whatever. Yeah. And this is how I think this kind of stuff stays alive. part of this program. I'm watching Flo, okay, and I know it's college and pros, but I don't care, dude. Discipline is discipline, and his teams are one of the least penalized teams so far in 2 years and an off season here. In the preseason, his teams barely committed any penalties. They rarely beat themselves, okay, and they were really bad their first year. And yet they weren't. They were one of the least penalized teams by the end of the season overall. Discipline is. I saw Shula and his. I remember coaching the Scabs teams, and he was the least penalized team with the Scabs because everybody always used to say, "Well, he's part of the competition committee, and that's why he gets the favorable calls and all that BS that people would spew." And then here comes the Scab year, and the same thing. He's winning games with Scabs. And the Scabs aren't committing any kind of penalties either and burning themselves. Coaching is coaching, my man. Did you think Manny mishandled that this week? And those are the kind of moments that you can give an App State an opportunity to make a big play and make a difference in a game. Playing smarter, man. This team has got to learn to do that.
Yeah, I agree. This isn't something new. I mean, these targeting penalties between Amari Carter and Bubba and different guys on this team that have been called for it here over the last 2 years. I just think Manny's frustrated with it because I think he tries to coach these guys the right way. In the end, he's not the guy on the field. Like these guys that's why everybody wants to point the finger at the coaches and be like, they're the problem. The same mistakes are happening over and over again. You don't think they're coaching it?
So you bench Amari Carter's ass.
Right.
You bench him so hard, every time he gets up, he's got to pull splinters out of his ass. But if you allow the same person to, I'm not saying to Bubba because that was his first time. That was just a bad choice on his part. I wouldn't bench Bubba. I know he's a hell of a player too, obviously. But Amari Carter, I blame the coach. Because you can coach it up, But if you keep making that same mistake, at one point or another, you got to say, and if everybody also sees that there is no penalty for continuing to make that mistake, then you're never going to have any discipline on the team. So why not bench the hell out of Amari Carter and say, this is not tolerated anymore. You do this, you can't be on the field, period. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Again, I go back to Flo. Flo doesn't put up with a coach. He's had like 7 offensive line coaches in 2 seasons already. The guy, if it doesn't work, you're not staying on the field. Player, coach, he doesn't give a crap. Manny should be doing that.
Well, I think there are certain positions where he has started to do that, right? Offensive line, they've got all this depth now, right? He went out, he got the kid from UNLV.
And he benched Scaife away.
He pulled Scaife within right after that sack. It's like, dude, get your ass on the bench. I got this dude who I know can do this. You're gone. And and Scaife had a phenomenal camp from everything that I heard, that he was probably the best offensive lineman in camp. But hey, you go out there, you fail the test, So yeah. I think there's certain positions where he can do that. I still think because of the lack of depth on this team at certain positions, there's positions he just can't. And, a guy like Bubba, this is, like you said, this is the first time he's got hit with the targeting.
He's an elite player, man.
He's going to come back. But you saw they played the freshman, right? They played James Williams.
That's right.
They played Cam Kinchins. So I think with this next group, again, we don't know, right? These guys have to develop more. You have to see more out of them. But I do think there's more talent in this next group coming in. I hope for Manny's sake and for the program's sake there is, because that's the only thing that's going to get him out of this is better players. It's the only thing that's going to get him out of this.
So let me ask you, we'll wrap it up with this. Manny Navarro, of course, joining us here for the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. Make sure you visit the folks at Caneswear, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. And, of course, tell them that we sent you. They'll definitely take care of you. Dolphins gear, get it for Sunday. Canes gear, get it for Saturday. Inter Miami gear, get it for this weekend, baby. Marlins gear, get it. I don't know if you're going to go to the game. But anyway, whatever. As you could go to Canes. All right, so in 2 years now that you've watched Manny, again, I'm going to go to Davie. I watch players, street free agents, regular free agents, draft picks. I watch them in 1 year to the next year to the next year, and I'm watching players improve constantly under this coaching staff. They develop their talent. How many guys have made improvements that you've been impressed with, and you credit it to coaching, not just the raw ability of the player?
I think there's a handful of examples at Miami. I think Gregory Rousseau was one that is in Manny's cap. First of all, he identified him, and they coached that guy up to become a better player, to learn how to use his length. And now you see what happens when they get a guy who has talent, but a guy that needs coaching. They coached him up. I think Zion Nelson, the left tackle, is a perfect example. A guy who came in 6'5", 240 pounds. They put good weight on him. And if you go back and you watch that Alabama tape, he played pretty good against a pretty good pass rush. Yeah. I think he allowed one pressure in that game. So, there's a couple of Keyshawn Smith, I think, is going to be a beast. He's going to be another one of those 3-star kids that they took and made better. I think Keontra Smith's going to end up being a good player for them, a kid that they took from Chaminade that was a safety. They move him into the box. Now I think he's going to be their leading tackler this year. There's examples. I think the problem
is there enough for you to believe that he can make the kind of progress to get?
I'll put it to you this way. I think he's better than Randy Shannon, and I think he's better than Al Golden.
Okay.
And if that counts for anything, I think he's the kind of coach that if you're going to go the cheap route, right, and you're going to hire the inexperienced guy who's never been a head coach, at least you have a guy who cares, who's from here, who knows if I don't get this right, this is probably going to stay in the rest of my career. I think that's a better bet. But in the end, is that going to solve the problem? I don't know. I mean, I look at this as you probably need to give him 5-6 years, see how he fully recruits, how he develops quarterbacks, how Tyler Van Dyke and Jake Garcia look the next couple of years. If they play well and Miami averages 10 wins and gets to the playoff once or wins the ACC title once, then Manny did his job in my mind, because he went from being an inexperienced head coach to taking Miami to somewhere Randy couldn't take them and Al couldn't take them. So that's where they're at. If you're not going to go out and spend a boatload of money to bring in Nick Saban or Urban Meyer or one of these proven winners, then you got to live with these results. You got to have these expectations.
I'm with you there. I would imagine you are picking Miami, right? The prediction.
Yeah, and I think they'll cover this week. I think they're at home. I think the kids will be juiced up. And Appalachian State, the last time they played Miami, it was in their place. Same kind of team, 45-10. Miami killed them. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Appalachian State's going to hang around. And this to me is like a Miami, I don't know, Georgia Tech type game. Where Georgia Tech some years has beaten Miami, but for the most part, Miami takes care of business. I think that's more of what I see in this game. That's my comparison.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic. More importantly, please subscribe. If you're a Canes fan, you're going to get incredible wall-to-wall coverage. This man writes about 8 articles a minute. So that's a lot of content that goes onto that website every single hour. Think about that. Just do the math. I mean, he's in this interview right here. He wrote 4 articles. I mean, it's really impressive. He's talking to us, and he's just, and it's all osmosis too. It's just
it just leaks out of me. It just leaks
out. It's just one of those things. Comes right out of his brain, right into the Athletic offices, and right onto your computer screen. So make sure you subscribe to The Athletic and support Manny and all the great writers there locally and nationally. Manny, as always, my brother, have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the game, enjoy the coverage, and we will talk to you on Tuesday, my friend. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro. Again, Twitter, Manny_Navarro. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Got a couple of things that I want to get into right here on the show, coming to you live from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty. I would imagine if I look at the chat board right now, it probably says that I'm taking a crap or what happened to what's he doing? Is he ever coming back? You know, all that kind of stuff, right? Is that what's going on? Is that what's going on? A great interview, guys. Very informative. Thanks. Well, that's some nice things are being said. Manny is in over his head. Ugh. Yeah, that it does feel like that with Manny Diaz, not Navarro. I don't think Mario would take the Miami job. He will take the LSU job. Yeah, at this point, you know, well, first of all, you don't leave Oregon for LSU anymore. I get what you're saying, SEC, you go to LSU, yada, 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 all that stuff. But if you got Nike money in Oregon. USC's a weak sister right now. They haven't found their way back. Neither has UCLA. Arizona State aren't necessarily threatening. Oregon State, I mean, give me a break. You know, so you start looking around Washington, you start looking around you're Oregon, you're like, we could dominate the West Coast. We can get the top talents in there. And, you know, they've gotten the quarterback and the tackle here recently that just went into the draft. You know what I'm saying? So if you're Mario, you have Vic Knight's money from Nike. You have the ultimate facilities out there, right? You've got 4,000 uniforms. I mean, you got enough buzz that you can actually dominate there and own it forever, man. I don't know. You go to LSU and it's a lot of headaches. Because now you're competing against Alabama and Georgia and all these other teams for a lot of the same talent. And then you've got to do probably a lot of the funky stuff too in order to compete with those kind of teams. You know what I mean by funky stuff, right? Okay, so it's interesting. I get what you're saying. Like, okay, well, let me go to the SEC and go to the best conference out there. But man, if you're Mario, you can have the best of both worlds at Oregon. You're going to get the talent out west. You have very little competition, and then you can dominate the conference and put yourself in the playoffs every single year. And you don't have to go through hell to get there, because to go through the SEC, that's going through hell every single year. You got to play Auburn. You got to play Alabama. You got to play Georgia. Maybe you don't play them all in 1 year, but you're going to have to deal with them at one point or another, or in the conference championship game. So it's almost like you beat each other up and you ruin each other's chances for a national title. Whereas if you're in Oregon, you have a chance to absolutely dominate out west and then go walk right into the playoffs. So I don't know if you're Mario. I don't know if you would do that. I don't know if that really makes a lot of sense to leave Oregon and everything that you have there for LSU. All right. Remember, you can get in on the Yahoo email at Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com, Twitter, Big O Show, YouTube channel, of course. You want to chime in, you want to send in your questions, you can do that here on the YouTube chat board. We talked a little bit about the Dolphins and the Patriots. So the question is, who's going to deal with pressure the best? Is it going to be Mac Jones? Is it going to be Tua? And I talked a little bit about it with Omar, but the fact that Tua averaged 70% completion percentage of his passes under 2.5 seconds, and he got 6.4 yards per catch in each throw there, each completion, shall I say, and a 92.8% passer rating, he can deal with the pressure. And one of the things that, like I mentioned to Omar, you're a better team right now. You've got better talent. He's got now a year under his belt. He was able to play. He's now fully healthy. He's got better talent around him. He's had an entire offseason to kind of get in a groove. He's looked really comfortable in practice, preseason, effective. I think he's going to be able to deal with the pressure. I really do. I don't know about Mac yet because he's untested at this level. But both guys are going to be put through hell because Flo is going to do everything to try to confuse Mac. And obviously the same thing. Belichick is going to do everything to try to confuse Tua. Plus, it's kind of a different person on each side of the mirror. If you're the Patriots, you feel your running game can be the focal point of the offense. You got a plethora of backs. You got a really good offensive line. So let's go at it. Let's see if we can shove the ball down the throat and make Mac play off that and play action and keep him, safe. On the flip side, if you're the Patriots, you feel you can pressure them because the Dolphin offensive line is young and the running backs aren't necessarily stars either. So if you pressure them, you run blitz them, you stop their run, and you put the pressure on Tua, now you make him one-dimensional. The Patriots right now have a much better chance of becoming a dual threat than Miami does in this game on Sunday, only because the Patriots line is established, Miami's isn't. Patriots probably have the better group of running backs over Miami. So that's the key for them. And that's why Miami cannot allow the running game to dominate this contest. If you do that, you will now give the rookie quarterback life. And what you need to do is make it hell for him. So it'll be interesting to see how Flo stops the run to pressure the quarterback. Because if he doesn't stop the run, there's no pressuring the quarterback. You can't do both, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. So that's really where the chess match comes down to. Can Miami do what they haven't done so far, develop a run defense that you can count on? That's been a work in progress for them in the first couple of years. And hopefully they've gotten there. And I really believe this year that Raekwon Davis is going to have a breakout year for them. And I've told you, he is probably, for me, the key in this matchup. He must be disruptive. He must be unblockable. He must be a force. If he does that, he also opens it up for the linebackers to fill the gaps and do things. If he doesn't, guards and center and tackles are going to dominate this game, and they're going to eat up the linebackers at the second level, and then all of a sudden you got the backs making plays. Not a good thing. But it's going to be about the pressure between the two the quarterbacks, and the two coaches trying to figure out this chess match too in the process. What else do we have here that I wanted to talk a little bit about? Let's see. I have it. Oh, ESPN. They came out with a simulator for the Miami Dolphins. And interesting that they actually, unlike our buddy Omar, they actually have the Dolphins winning. How about that? Pretty interesting stuff. The opening game of the 2021 season is in the books, And you'll be shocked to hear that Tom Brady led a last-minute scoring drive, as you all know, in Tampa last night. Well, some things never change, but one thing that is new this season versus in recent memory is that the Miami Dolphins appear to be getting a little bit of support from various outlets as a playoff contender. The most recent example of this support comes from ESPN, which provided an in-depth look at their 20,000 simulations of the 21 regular season schedule. The simulations in a small fraction of the big picture puzzle for ESPN's Power Football Index. Heading into the 2021 season, ESPN Football Power Index simulated the entire 285-game slate 20,000 times to create the projections. Having a sample size that large allows them to have the most accurate projections possible, which is, of course, what they want most of the time. But today, they're only focused on one of them. Simulation 13,330. That one is fairly kind of the Dolphins in their early slate of games of the years. It has Miami projected with the 3-2 record over the first 5 games. But somewhere in the middle, need some water. It goes south. Dolphins stumbling to 6-6. But the next big update, final stretch of the year, the Dolphins finish hot, going 4-1 to finish 10-7 and a game ahead of wild card contenders Steelers, Jags, Chargers, all finishing at 9-8, and the Chargers missing the postseason. With the number 5 seed in the AFC secured, Miami lands a date with Kansas City in the wild card game. So they got Buffalo winning the bye week, and Miami plays Kansas City. That would be a bitch. Now, the good thing is they have my train of thought on how I see this team go, except I have them winning 11 games, not 10. I think it's going to be 11-6. I have a lot of faith in this team this year. Maybe I'll be disappointed. I don't believe so. I think people have underestimated the team, where it's going, the coaching staff, definitely the quarterback. I think they've underestimated. The only thing that I'm concerned about is the offensive line. And we all should be, because they're so young and they're so underdeveloped that we have nothing to lean on. Unfortunately, because there's no track record. See, with Tua, there's a track record. I've seen him in college in big moments and come through and be clutch. I watched him last year play coming off a hip surgery. And I thought he did a good job overall, considering what he was coming back from, what he was surrounded with, what he was, lack of protection in front of him, all those things, lack of experience. All of those things have disappeared. He's got the experience. The only thing questionable is the line. And yet he's still a very intelligent and crafty quarterback that will make quick decisions, as I've shown here. So to me, it's nice to see a simulator think like it. I hope it does end up happening, because Dolphins could be set up for a really fun season this year for Miami Dolphin fans. All right, a couple of other things that I wanted to get to. By the way, Miami is, New England is favored by 3. The over and under is 43. The money line is Dolphins plus 150, New England minus 180. I'm going to give you my picks for the week, all right, in the NFL slate this week. Here we go. You ready? Arizona and Tennessee. Tennessee is favored by 3. They're at home. The over and under is 52. I like the Titans in this one. I think with the running game and the passing game they have, Murray has to show me, while he can score some points, his offenses aren't explosive enough. And if Derrick Henry is going to control the ball on the ground, he's not going to get nearly as many opportunities to put points on the board. I'm going to take Tennessee minus 3 at home. I like that one. Seattle is on the road in Indianapolis, favored by 3. Indy's got quarterback issues. They've got a quarterback that's constantly not healthy. They got the kid from Washington that hasn't done anything yet at this level. Seattle minus 3 with a Super Bowl winning quarterback and an MVP caliber player in Russell Wilson and a defense that's gotten better too. Again, I'm going to take Seattle on the road -3 in Indianapolis. Vikings -3. Not a Kirk Cousins fan, but I have no faith whatsoever in the Cincinnati Bengals under the ownership and leadership of Mike Brown. A terrible owner, cannot trust the Bengals. Zach Taylor, the head coach, give me a break, dude. Come on, I got ties older than the kid. All right? He hasn't shown me anything either, like he's some young guru or anything. At least with the guy in the Rams who's young, McVay has shown me something. I haven't seen anything from Zach Taylor. Not there and not here when he was with the Dolphins. I'm going Vikings -3 in spite of Kirk Cousins. Chiefs -5.5 against the Brownies. Brownies hit the road. Chiefs, I think, will be motivated. I think they can win this one by a touchdown. And, of course, going on the road, I can see Baker making a mistake or two that could cost him. Chiefs better than the Browns by 5.5. Broncos on the road. I don't trust their quarterback situation, but guess what? I don't trust Daniel Jones even more than that. Saquon Barkley's coming off a knee surgery. We don't know if he's himself or how long it's going to take for him to get back to where he's at. Broncos defense is an intimidating defense. They know how to get after the quarterback. They know how to pressure. They know how to stop the run. I don't expect the Giants to win this one. While I don't buy their quarterbacks yet because Drew is still young and Teddy really, he's just a jag at quarterback, I'm still going to give up the 3 points. I think the Broncos can win by 5 or 6 in this one in a really ugly game between two mediocre teams. Green Bay -3.5 at New Orleans. How am I going to trust Jameis Winston? You've got to show it. You got to prove it to me. You got to prove it to me that Sean Payton can reach him and teach him not to throw interceptions and make big mistakes. He's done it at FSU, and he did it all the time in Tampa Bay. Until proven otherwise, I'm going to ride with Green Bay, and I'm going to ride with Aaron Rodgers because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. He knows he has to have a kick-ass season to kind of end his chapter and end the book there in Green Bay, one for the fans and himself, and two for his free agency. So if somebody wants to trade for him, you better make it tempting and desperation that you want to trade for him. So you need to come up with another MVP-like season. Aaron Rodgers will be motivated, and he's going to light up the New Orleans Saints like a Christmas tree. Give the 3.5. Go with the Packers. Dolphins visiting New England. New England favored by 3. Basically, Vegas is telling you New England is favored because they're home. That's what they're saying. I like the Dolphins in this one. I think the Dolphins will do enough to eke one out in New England, so New England will not cover. I like Miami in this one. We've talked about it all week long, and I'm going to go ballsy on this one. They're not going to win just because they're going to lose 30-31 and the Patriots didn't cover. No, they're going to win this game on Sunday. I'm taking the money line plus 150 in that one. So there you go. Dolphins +3, money line plus 150. Tennessee -3 against Arizona. Seattle -3 against Indy. Vikings -3 against the Bengals. Chiefs -5.5 against the Browns. Broncos -3 against the Giants. And Green Bay -3.5 against New Orleans. There you go. Speaking of quarterbacks, can you pull up Cam Newton? Because I found it really funny. Cam Newton finally has spoken. And listen, I kind of feel bad for him because writers all across the country have been asking their coaches, in places where they might need a quarterback or could bring in some depth, hey, any chance you're bringing Cam Newton? And everybody's kind of said no. So I kind of feel bad for Cam in that sense. But Cam has his own delusional state at times. And while he's a freakish athlete, he leaves a lot to be desired as a passer. And somehow or another, when you hear the stories that Mac Jones was teaching Cam Newton the playbook, you also got to figure, you're not only just not a great passer, but it seems like maybe you struggle also to learn a playbook at this point in your career in the NFL. which by now you would figure when you've been in the league nearly 10 years, you would know the league pretty well, and your IQ is at a level where you can pick things up with a quickness and not have a rookie teaching you the playbook. You know what I'm saying? So here's Cam Newton talking about the fact that he's a free agent and nobody has signed him.
Listen, I'm gonna remove all doubt. I'm gonna remove all doubt. I said it once, and I say it again. It's not 32 guys out there that's better than me, bro. And let's be honest.
Actually, you're wrong. There could be 40. There could be 45 guys better than you. Now, are there 10 guys that have the physical abilities that you have? Probably not. I don't know. It's hard to find maybe 10 people in the world that are built like Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? The good Lord blessed him with one hell of a body. He blessed him with a ton of athleticism. Doesn't make him a great quarterback. Bernie Kosar was ugly in his throwing motion, was lanky, looked like a complete goofball when he was running the football, but sitting back there in the pocket, he can decipher a defense, he can pick them apart, he can throw it accurately, he can be a winner for you. Cam Newton was able to win with his legs, not with his arm. Cam Newton never became a great passer, never became an accurate passer. And that's the problem that Cam Newton does not understand, that teams have to change and have to adjust an entire offense in order to have you play. Because you play unlike 99% of the quarterbacks in the world. And that's the part he still does not understand. While there aren't 32 people physically more gifted than you, Cam, I understand that. There could be 40 to 45 guys that understand an NFL playbook and can decipher a defense and can throw the ball with way more accuracy than you can. And that's the problem. See, there's enough people in the league that don't fall in love with the size of a quarterback that you have to be 6'5". You have to have an absolute cannon for an arm. No. You have to run 4.2. No. There's lots of guys that end up short. There's guys that don't have strong arms. But guess what? They end up in the Hall of Fame and they end up with a boatload of championships. Just ask Joe Montana, Drew Brees, and Bob Greasy. Okay? That's 7 championships with 3 guys that don't have half the arm that Cam Newton has had. But when we start stepping in between the ears, Cam Newton can't compare to those guys. When we start stepping into the arm, Cam Newton can't come close to the accuracy, the ball placement, and anticipation that those guys have because they see the break before it happens for the wide receiver. They place the ball where the break is going to end for the wide receiver, something that Cam Newton has never been able to do because Cam Newton has to physically wait till the guy breaks because he's got a cannon, so he can throw it exactly where he knows the guy is going to be. Do you know the gift, the talent it takes? Last night, Tom Brady threw a pass that was completely anticipated, and they were freaking out on that pass. Why? Because that's what the great ones can do. Bob Greasy couldn't throw 80 yards, but he can anticipate an out route better than anybody, and that's why Drew Brees did the same thing, and that's why Joe Montana won all those championships. Because he knew where Jerry Rice was going to be. He knew where his tight end was going to be. He knew where his running backs were going to be, and he could lead them. There's a gift to all of that. What Tom Brady did last night when he was pressured and he threw that high ball down the sidelines and dropped it right in there, that's the stuff you cannot teach, man. You can't teach that kind of stuff. You either have it or you don't, and Cam Newton hasn't realized that he doesn't have it. Or maybe he has, and he just wants to lie to himself and then think that his lie we're believing. And that's the problem. It's a big problem for him. I just hope that he doesn't come out publicly like Dez Bryant did years ago. And when Dez Bryant was cut by the Cowboys, he said, I got to work on my route running. Holy shit, dude. You've been in the league 8 years. You haven't worked on your route running now? That's because you were ad-libbing the entire time and you had quarterbacks that could actually do the job and help you be effective while you're ad-libbing. That's the same thing Chad Johnson did. He ad-libbed like crazy in Cincinnati, but Palmer could throw to guys like that because he's an accurate guy. He knew he had anticipation, all those kind of things. Romo had those same traits. But then when Chad Johnson wanted to get on board with the Patriots, he realized, holy shit, I've got to run precise routes. Every single time I've got to run the same route. If I don't run the same exact route, the ball won't be there. And then the quarterback can't count on me to be there. And that quarterback's name is Tom Brady. And that's why Chad Johnson failed, because he couldn't play with the kind of discipline it takes to play in the NFL at times. There are guys in this league that are supremely gifted. The good Lord bless them. So they make it to the league, but don't think that they're making it to the league as complete football players. They're making it to the league because they are freakish athletes. The guy that's a freakish athlete and a high IQ player, those are the special ones. Those are the different ones. It's great to have Russell Wilson's ability, but if you don't have Russell Wilson's mind, you ain't never going to be Russell Wilson. Lamar Jackson can run around all he wants. He'll never pass like Russell Wilson. Ever. That's the difference. As long as those legs are running at lightning speed, he'll stay alive in this league. But at one point or another, there's a haloti nada waiting for you. Okay? Just ask RG3. And when that haloti nada runs into Lamar Jackson, his career will be over. And he'll realize, I should have learned to stay in the pocket and beat people from the pocket. Because ultimately, those are always going to be the best quarterbacks. We can get into all this running bullshit that we got going on in the league, and I get it. But the guy that can stay back there in the pocket, read, decipher, and beat you is always going to be the guy that's most valuable. The guy that has to run outside the box and create plays and take on hits, you know what he's doing? His life dependency is a lot shorter in this league. It's the inevitable. Somebody's going to break you in half. It's just the way it is. Cam Newton, buddy, you need to wake up, man. You need to wake up in a big-time way. Let me give you something that was pretty funny. Did you see that Tyron Woodley wants a rematch with Jake Paul? See, Jake Paul's not going to give it to him now, right? He didn't get the tattoo. He never got the tattoo. And I got to and so now he's telling no fight, no nothing, why he didn't live up. And let me tell you, they made the bet. Everybody saw the video. He shook on it and everything. He could have said, no, I'm not doing that stupid stuff. Come up with something else. But he agreed to it, and then he lost. And Tyron Woodley has to understand this. And I hate to put it this way, but let me just be blunt. Tyron, you're a nobody. Okay? What you did in the octagon doesn't mean jack anymore. At this point in time, nobody wants to see you fight. Nobody wanted to see you fight the other night, and nobody wants to see you fight again. You are not a draw. And I hate to, listen, I'm not a Jake, Logan Paul guy. I'm looking forward to watching those guys get knocked out. But I do give them props for this. They have created a name for themselves. They have created an enormous following. They have the juice, or shall I say, Jake has the juice. Logan kind of rides Jake's coattails. Am I right? Because, right, it kind of looks that way. Jake looks like he's got all the juice. So Tyron Woodley, dude, you do know they have the laser stuff to take off the tattoo, right? So you put on the tattoo, you go make another $1 million, and then just use a couple thousand to take that tattoo off. That's all. But the part that Tyron Woodley still doesn't understand is that he doesn't make a damn call here. He was gifted a fight. He was gifted money. And he wasn't even good enough to win in the fight, as it is, against the YouTuber. And so now you're in no position to demand jack. So Tyron Woodley, dude, if you want the fight, get the tattoo. If you want the money, get the tattoo. You can take it off after. But understand this, you're an effing nobody, dude. In this world that you're in now, in this celebrity world, nobody knows your ass. Nobody cares about you. Nobody's going to pay 1 red cent to see you. The people that are paying for that fight are for the Pauls, not for you, dude. He did you a favor, actually. He made you more money than you ever made in any fight in the octagon. And so you want it again? You're a nobody. Understand that. Maybe your agent hasn't told you that, but maybe your agent should tell you, hey, yo, you got no juice here. Because you got no juice. Zero juice. I just love these people that live, Cam Newton. They live in this world that we can all see. And then I look at this guy, and again, same damn thing. It's ridiculous. All right, we are going to wrap it up here on the show. We thank all of you out there for always keeping it locked here and supporting us in a big-time way. We will see you on Sunday. Sean and I will be out there. We go live at 2:30. From 2:30 to 4:25, we will take you right up to kickoff as the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins will take the field in Foxborough. We will be at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes, right off of 154th and the Palmetto on the west side of the Palmetto. Come on out there and join us, man. We're going to have a blast. Looking forward to it. We will see you there. If we don't see you there on Sunday, watch us on YouTube. We'll be here on the channel. And if not, we will then see you on Monday, and it'll be a great time, man. We'll be talking about a Dolphins win. I'm looking forward to it. You all be safe. Talk to you soon.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show.